Okay. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome. How's it going, you guys? Welcome to Filling in the Gaps. We got some... Damn, the chat is cracking already. What's up, Tammy? Oh, no. Did I not... Ooh, what's going on? Is my chat not fixed? Ooh, Lord. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Uh-oh. Hold on, you guys. We're gonna have to cut this real quick. Uh-oh. What is going on? Are we back? All right, let me see if this chat worked. There you go. Oh, Lord. I have to fix the chats, you guys, so I can shout you guys out. What up? How's it going? I see Tammy's in the house. Jad's here. Ramona Light Healer. Molly Wood. I know. I've just been, hanging out with everybody. Ronan. What's up, chat? Sydney Shay's in the house. The Boss Bish. Who else is here? I see Stars. What's up, Stars? How you doing? Who else? Darcy. What's up, Darcy? How you doing, Whitney? Whitney in the house. You guys, how many of you guys are just exhausted with the amount of news that has come out today? Breaking news, says Dubs. I don't know. Someone told me I'm in all the strangers chats earlier today. Yeah, Stars, you're famous. You are famous. I see Viking Woman. What up? I see Ash is here. Michis. What's up? Oh my God, so horrendous, says Michis. Yeah, hasn't it been just a crazy day? My God, I am super exhausted. There's just been a lot that has come out today, and I swear to God, social media is just on fire. They are just... Steve Fischer is something else. How many of you guys read Steve Fischer's tweet earlier today? One True Whitney said, I'm not tired. Who's tired? Yup. I know. Somebody tell my mod to get some rest. Y'all ladies don't sleep. I know. All right, you guys. So, really quick, before we get things started, we probably got, like 20 seconds before the music dies down. I want to show you guys a clip, and I don't know if it's going to show. We're going to test it. And as I thought, it's not going to show. But I do want you guys to know that we do have some kind of new news. I don't know. There's an interview that SF did with News Nation just a few minutes ago. Hey, what's going on? Y'all donating in the chat already? Thank you, Michi. She just gifted 5 memberships. So if you were gifted a membership, please make sure you thank Michi's in the chat. So we're going to start off with Jesse Weber, okay? Jesse Weber put out a show earlier today, which we're going to react to. We're going to watch. So I hope you guys, You guys have probably already seen this a million times, but there's also a new episode that just came out, and I want you guys to take a listen to this because there's some information in here that has been dropped that has been a point of discussion for the longest time. And I guarantee you're hearing it first here, right? Anyways, let me go ahead and play this because this was an episode that I want to say it came out about an hour ago. So maybe it came out on YouTube, but we caught this right before we went live. So here, I'm going to play Jesse Weber, and I'm sorry. Unfortunately, there's a block. YouTube TV won't allow me to stream this, so that's why you see a black screen. But I will play this for you guys, so I want you guys to listen closely, okay? What is it? What is it, Ash? Ash wants to know, what's the news? What's the news? So if any of you guys were watching Zav's live last night, this was a point of discussion that we were talking about back and forth last night. But I will say that my predictions were wrong. So let's go ahead and listen, you guys.
A massive story. We've been following it.
And do me a favor, huge. Type one in the chat if you guys can hear Jesse Weber.
Online right now, ton of interest. The singer has been in the spotlight ever since the body of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was allegedly discovered in the trunk of this Tesla, or his Tesla. And the pair were supposedly in a relationship, although that wasn't confirmed by authorities. When police found Celeste's body in a Los Angeles tow yard in early September, talking about how far back...
Oh, dang. Jake, did you change your name to David is 100% guilty? It's no longer David is guilty, it's 100% guilty? Yikes.
This goes. Initial reports indicated that her body wasn't just decomposed, that it had been dismembered. Today, we may have finally gotten confirmation of that disturbing detail, and also official confirmation that there is a real, active criminal case against David for a charge of murder. And this is all thanks to previously sealed court records that were obtained by private investigator Steve Fischer, which he released to the public. He's going to come on in a minute. But the records are tied to the Los Angeles County grand jury investigation against the singer. And they contain allegations that when detectives discovered Celeste's body in the trunk of that Tesla, it wasn't in one, but two bags, including one identified as, quote, a cadaver bag. Yeah, one body, two separate bags. And I don't know, call it ironic or not, but we are learning all of this is thanks to David's family. You see, his Houston-based father and other relatives, they were served a summons to testify in the pop star's case back in January. But when they tried to fight it, their legal battle.
So in case you guys are just coming in right now, I'm playing a clip from News Nation, but this was played on their actual station. So this is from YouTube TV. Unfortunately, YouTube TV does not allow me to stream through OBS, so it's kind of blocked right now. But as long as you can only hear the audio, that's what's important, right? And we're gonna react to Jesse's show later, so some of this he may already have said in the show, but I want you guys to listen up.
Which contained these documents became public record thanks to Texas law, and again, Steve. Now, these documents raise some very big questions about the strength of the case against the singer, because prosecutors have seemingly known these details for months, right? And finding a body in two separate bags sure seems like something that would lead to an arrest. So why isn't David or anyone associated with him in cuffs? Now, we've reached out to David's team for comment, haven't gotten a reply yet. Joining me now exclusively is missing persons private investigator Steve Fischer, who has been covering this.
All right, listen up, you guys. Listen up. Make sure you guys are listening.
This story since it began. Steve, thanks so much for coming on. I first have to ask you, what led you to post all this today? And I'll be clear, you were quite vocal about your frustrations in this case.
Yeah, listen, these documents became available, and to be honest with you, it was the first confirmation that I got that she was actually dismembered. That's something that, I couldn't find out. I really was hoping that that was not the case, and that just changed everything. I was vocal about it. I only do missing persons cases, and I'm really, really passionate about them, and especially about these victims that don't really have a voice and that are taken advantage of. And that is the case here with Celeste, who was 12 and 13 years old when this started. And it just, and I'm getting angry, to be honest with you. I don't like the way.
Look, you guys, this is the first time that I've ever heard SF Investigates come out and publicly state that he is frustrated, he is angry, he is pissed off. And in a bit after this, we're going to go through some of the tweets that he put out, you guys. And look, I'm telling you, SF Investigates is not playing.
That things are moving forward and the lack of transparency, but they're telling us that it's not a lack of transparency. It's just things need to change, and I think we need to get more vocal.
So I want to get into that, but now that this is in the court documents and is seemingly a confirmation, there was a conversation before, well, maybe she died accidentally. Let's say, there were some theories of drug overdose, people panicked, put her in the car, wasn't sure what to do with her. Now, if there's confirmation she was dismembered in such a brutal fashion and that they are looking at a murder charge for him, intentional murder, what does that tell you? What is your theory of this case right now regarding what might have happened to Celeste?
Tommy did it. Wow.
Well, what happened was vicious, and this was not. And we were hoping it was like an overdose and a bad decision made by some people to figure out how to get rid of her body. But she was hacked apart. She wasn't surgically taken apart. She was brutally pulled apart, with instruments and tools, and put in 2 separate bags, and then thrown in a trunk of a car, and they went on with their lives for many months. And while she was there rotting, and it's infuriating. It is just sadistic. It is. Listen, this is rare. This happens in the world, and this is why we need this person off the street. There's no.
Well, why do you think there's a delay in charges and arrest? Do you think this is a weakness in the case, or are they just building their case for the grand jury?
Well, maybe they're building their case, but 6 months is a very long time. Like how, this isn't like we found remains in a desert and there was nothing to go on. We're starting from zero. This is a girl that was found in somebody's registered vehicle in a wealthy neighborhood with a lot of cameras, in a car that has cameras. And, certainly, listen, I deal with like search.
Look, I think at this point, SF is really just calling out law enforcement, right? He's basically saying, in a world that we live in where everything is recorded, we don't have any footage. Y'all got to be playing, right?
Warrant returns on cell phones all the time. That stuff comes back in 2 or 3 days. So they have her phone activity. They might not have her phone, but they have all those, things that they can tie together, and it just can't be that hard of a case. But
you mentioned the cadaver bag. Do you think that's tied to anybody?
Somebody bought it. I mean,
and they could track that.
Yeah, well, sure. And like, listen, we know that somebody ordered a burn cage, and it was delivered to the house in a different name, but that can be tracked. And I'm sure, how many private individuals are buying cadaver bags?
That's a great point, right? How many people are actually buying cadaver bags? I'm not. And that should be easily traced, right? But I seen earlier that you can buy them on Amazon, y'all. Jesus Christ. You can buy these cadaver bags on Amazon? This is wild.
Probably not that many. And, so I think there's things to go on, but I don't think it takes 6 months.
David is 100% guilty, allegedly. No, this video is not on YouTube yet. So this was actually a live replay that I'm kind of replaying for you guys. That hasn't been put out yet, but I mean, who knows? It could come out in the next couple of minutes.
With top investigators.
So let me break this down. If you're,
hold on, Obsidian. Hold on, let me see. Neo was the last person to drive the car. SF told us he has footage. It was before he was hired. Well, let's listen. Let's listen, you guys.
Talking about 2 bags, right? And what you know about the bags. You're also concerned by the fact that it looks like just David is the target, but you believe he might have had help here, right?
Wait, hold on really quick. Before we continue, Coco Mom, thank you so much for your 5 gifted memberships. If you were gifted a membership, please make sure you thank Coco Mom in the chat. And because Coco Mom is one of our biggest supporters here on the channel, Coco Mom, we made you an emoji. So do me a favor, you guys, drop a Coco Mom emoji in the chat for one of our biggest supporters here on the channel.
Allegedly.
Yes, so it's all allegedly, but I mean, I don't see any way that this is done by one person. I just don't. And I also know that the car was moved by somebody other than David.
Whoa,
I
whoa, whoa, whoa,
I
whoa, whoa, whoa,
just
whoa, whoa, whoa! What did he say?
any way that this is done by one person. I just don't. And I also know that the car was moved by somebody other than David.
So one of the biggest questions is who moved the Tesla, right? And here we are. We just have confirmation of SF Investigates saying that we know that somebody else other than David moved the Tesla, right? So there's been a little bit of back and forth, and I don't know if this has been publicly stated before. And if it has been, please show me the receipts because I don't remember him saying it anywhere else. So if it's not David, that leaves a few other people, right? There's Neo. And we've had, right? Even SF Investigates say that Neo's family members have come out publicly to defend him. And I think we all know what he's talking about, right? He's probably referring to that one comment that was left on our video that we had, where supposedly the mom was defending him, right? Then there's Aysia. There's Aysia. Aysia was on that bus. So, or was it Rob? But one thing for sure is that SF has just let us know that the person that moved the Tesla was not David. So I'm going to eat crow, right? Because last night I was so gung-ho about it being David and him wearing that very distinct bonnet. But I guess I was wrong.
Right? Allegedly.
I don't
Allegedly.
Yes, so it's all allegedly, but I mean, I don't see any way that this is done by one person. I just don't. And I also know that the car was moved by somebody other than David. I'm just certain that there was, people that knew about it. Listen, that car was putting off a foul odor. There's even live streams where there's a makeup artist that mentions an odor in the house, and they make up this excuse for it. People knew about this, and everybody that knew about it needs to pay a price, as far as I'm concerned. But there's only one target in that, in that paperwork, and that is David, and it's also only one charge, and.
I mean, murder's the top charge here, and they seem to suggest. I mean, they seem to suggest. I don't know what evidence what evidence do you think they have to suggest that he intentionally killed her?
Well,
yo, you guys, do you guys just see that comment right there? Coco Mom is just gifting memberships, and she's been a big supporter. So she said that is it number one? You've donated and gifted 120 memberships to the channel. Wow. Shout out to you, Coco Mom. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Tammy, thank you so much for your $1.99 super chat. R.I.P. Celeste. Absolutely. R.I.P. Celeste, you guys.
I mean, yeah, it's a murder, malice aforethought.
Yeah.
It's the highest level, that means that this was intentional. This was not, so I don't know what to have. That I guess that's my whole thing. I don't know, but I know that in order for them to be saying that, they got to have something. So if they've got it, what are we doing? And if you don't have it yet, why can't we start with something? Because there's a lot of other crimes that can be charged here, but this needs to be put in motion. There was evidence left behind that wasn't.
Ronan, thank you so much for your 5 gifted memberships. Please make sure you thank Ronan in the chat if you receive the gifted membership. And don't forget, you guys, we got a Discord where it's members only. So you guys are all invited, and everybody that just was gifted a membership, welcome to the inner circle. All right, you guys, let's keep it rolling.
Taken, I don't know why. There's 4 terabytes of surveillance from a house directly across the street that was not obtained. There's missteps here, okay? And it's been a long time. This girl needs justice, and I'm just going to start calling it out.
What about David's family? Why would the prosecutor want them to testify? For what purpose? And I also have to imagine whether or not they would plead the fifth, right against self-incrimination if they wouldn't want to testify against their family member. But what would be the value of them testifying?
I can't see any value in it because, one, did David tell his family? Most likely, no. Well, you're not going to go tell your parents. But even if they did, like you said, they would plead or something. They're not going to give it up. And if we're holding up an indictment for them, because it ends up, it's been confirmed today, they have not appeared in front of the grand jury. Their attorneys their attorneys confirmed that they still got an appeal process through a state level court going on. So if we're holding it up for what's going to be nothing, just like I'm sure they got nothing out of Neo Langston, like what's missing, and keep us in. There's got to be some, like, keep us informed to some level, because we don't know if the community is safe. These are vicious.
I do wonder if they're calling them to confirm that that Tesla was his and registered, because it was registered to the Texas address where they live, right?
Yeah, but listen, I mean, just through DMV records, you can,
That's true.
And also, listen, I have the license plate reader data for the last 18 months. I know where that car has been, and so I can prove that he's driving and where it's been and stuff. So there's so many avenues, but it's going too slow.
And by the way, Neil Langston is David's purported friend who was arrested in Montana to seemingly appear before the grand jury. All right, Steve, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. And again, we are constantly following you on X for the latest updates, but appreciate.
Yo, the boss bitch just gifted 10 memberships in the chat. So if you guys were gifted a membership, please make sure you thank the boss bitch. Oh, dear Lord. Welcome, everybody, to the inner circle. You guys are crazy. Just donating memberships left and right, y'all. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to Boss Bitch for supporting the channel. You guys, so I want to know in the chat, who moved the damn Tesla? Who moved it? Final answer. Give me your final answer. All right, Jesse Weber also put out this video today with... gonna basically just kind of give us an update on everything that kind of took place today. So let's go ahead and watch this really quick.
We have breaking news. New court documents reveal that singer David is officially a murder suspect, and there is a criminal case being pursued against him in connection with the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And unfortunately, these documents also reveal apparent new and disturbing details about her dismembered body. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
I'm Jesse Weber.
By the way, if you're into content creation, if you're putting things out on social media, have you ever wondered
we're not collecting money on these ads?
Big update in the continuing case of the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose body was found in the trunk of a car.
Damn, a lot of you guys are saying Neo Langston, Neo allegedly moved the Tesla. Wow. And if there was a possibility that that really was his mom that left a comment on our video saying that Neo never moved the Tesla, right? Hold on really quick, because we got to take a look at that really quick. We have to take a look at this. Let me just remind you guys what was mentioned, because I think it's worth reviewing, right? Let me just find it. Where is it? Neo, where are you? Neo. Yo. The boss bitch just gifted another 10 memberships. Wow. Okay, look at y'all just getting gifted memberships left and right. I see some familiar names right there. Dr. Vona got one. Mind Y'all's Dogs Gang. Okay, Kalohi, Bailey Bombshell. Make sure you are thanking the boss bitch in the chat, y'all. All right, I got thrown off. Hold on. What are we looking for again? Here it is. Here, let me just, hold on. All right, we got this. This is what we were told, right? Neo did not hide out with his mom. And this is in reference to this tweet right over here. Where is the tweet where he's talking about it? Was it this one? Right here, right? So in this tweet, he said, like you, Neo Christopher Langston, you knew. I've seen family members publicly defend him and threaten lawsuits against anyone who names him. Sue me. I beg you. Please sue me. Give me subpoena power. Give me the power of discovery, because that may be the only way the truth comes out. I beg of you. File the defamation suit. How do people like David, Neo, and Aysia live with themselves? Right? So this is the actual comment where it is our belief that Neo's mom came out and defended him and said Neo did not hide out with his mom. He lives with his mom, which is weird, right? He was never served. He never drove the Tesla. He is not in a plea deal. He has nothing to hide, and he was cooperating with the DA already, and the arrest is completely bogus. I don't know. I mean, if it was completely bogus, they made a huge spectacle of it, right? Nancy is Melinda Ducketing him. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the Melinda Ducketing case, make sure you guys go check that out yourselves. But yeah, what y'all think about that?
Allegedly registered to singer
He
David
lived
back in
with his
September
boyfriend.
out in LA. We have been following
wild,
this case
baby.
religiously. There have been no arrests. There have been no charges. Well, there have been arrests, but not in connection with the actual, let's say, killing of Celeste or the removal of her body. There was an arrest in terms of somebody being brought there to testify. But here's the big part. You've heard reports of a grand jury being impaneled. You've heard reports of David being considered a suspect, but nothing official. There has been so much that authorities haven't been revealing about this investigation. But right now, Steve Fischer, the private investigator who had been investigating this case on the ground, demanding justice, who may have testified in front of the grand jury himself, by the way, although we can't officially confirm that. And by the way, he represents the owner of the house where David was reportedly staying near where the Tesla was found. He just dropped not only huge bombshells about this case on X, but he just gave us 150 pages of court filings that have revealed a lot of new information. We have learned more about Celeste's body, and we have learned that there is a real case against David for murder. So let me lay out first what he posted on X, and then we'll discuss the actual filings. First, Steve wrote, in a petition for attendance to compel David family members to appear before a grand jury, it's disclosed that Celeste Rivas Hernandez's head and torso were found in a cadaver bag, her severed arms and legs in a second bag. David Burke, meaning David, is the target of the grand jury for one count of murder. And when you read from the screenshots that he posted, and we'll talk about this more from the actual filings, people of the state of California v. David Burke.
Obsidian, I have to say, I do think that she did, which is why Nancy applied that pressure, and what happened after that happened.
Nathan Hochman at the top, so that's the LA County District Attorney. Beth Silverman is the Assistant DA. We've mentioned her too, so this is confirming there is a real case. They are the prosecutors, including her. Saw her coming in and out of court before. And then the filing states that there is now pending in the Superior Court of the County of Los Angeles the above entitled grand jury investigation by the state of California against target David Burke, wherein target may be involved in having committed the following criminal offenses against the laws of the state of California, to wit, one count of murder. This is big. This is big because it was always a question of whether or not they were really investigating him and gathering evidence regarding a murder charge. And when I looked it up, when I looked up that penal code under California law, murder is the unlawful killing of a human being or a fetus with malice aforethought. Basically an intentional killing. So while there were theories out there that, let's say, Celeste had died as an accident, let's say Celeste died from a drug overdose and there was a panic and there was just an instance of trying to dismember her body or dispose of her body or hide her body. Remember, at one point you heard from authorities maybe there was nothing beyond just the removal of her body that was being investigated. Maybe that was the only charge. Not the case. Now they believe they have enough evidence to support a murder charge, that he intentionally killed her. And then it goes on to say how you have the three witnesses summoned by California are Dawud, Colleen, and Caleb Burke. So his dad,
the boss bitch,
his
thank
mom,
you so much for your
and his
$20
younger
super
adult
sticker.
age brother. And the information that's attached to Steve Fisher's tweet is in reference to Dawud Burke's court paperwork. And it says, quote, that if Dawud Burke comes into the state of California in obedience to a summons directing him to attend and testify at said grand jury investigation, the laws of the state of California and of any other state through which he may be required to pass by the ordinary course of travel to attend such proceeding shall give him protection from arrest and the service of process, civil or criminal, in connection with matters which arose before his entrance into said state pursuant to such summons, that Dawud Burke is an adult, that the prosecution will provide the witness a round-trip airplane ticket and transportation to and from the airport, wherefore it is requested for on behalf of the state of California that your honor certify to the above and foregoing by the issuance of a certificate thereto under the seal of the Superior Court.
The boss bitch is feeling some type of weight today, y'all. She just sent a $20 super sticker and she just gifted 10 more memberships, you guys. I think she's at like 30 memberships tonight, y'all. If you guys received a gifted membership, make sure you thank the boss bish in the chat, y'all.
record in the state of California to compel the attendance of Dawud Burke as a witness at the grand jury investigation on the date and time set forth pursuant to law. Basically outlining that he is needed to be a witness in this case, and that if he follows it and he shows up, he's not going to be arrested and charged. Got this other post from Steve. Quote, court transcripts show that detectives from the LAPD Robbery Homicide Division were in Texas to escort David's parents to Los Angeles to testify about what they know about the suspicion that there's...
Y'all having competitions for the crown in the chat? You guys, stop it, you guys.
Son murdered and dismembered a 14-year-old girl. #monster, #Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And Steve also posted a portion of a transcript for me. Texas court where attorneys for the Burkes were arguing.
Mollywood said he wants Neo's mom to sue and he wants Neo charged. And, you know, I mean, I think with that comment, right, that's kind of telling. I mean, there really aren't that many other people that are left, you know, in the bucket to choose from. And I don't know if tomorrow SF is going to just drop some more fire. Obsidian said he's going to go scorched earth, right? And I feel like if SF doesn't hear something, he's just going to let everything. We know that there were, what, 1,100 photos that he found on that SIM card or whatever, that little SD card. So I know he's got something. What he should drop, though, is he should drop a photo of Aysia at the house, at the mansion on December 31st, right? So then that way we can tell her, you can't act like you didn't know Celeste.
Arguing that their clients wanted to make sure that everything was in order.
Winnie, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. You said, let me get this straight. A minor was found dead and dismembered, after which the cops said it was an overdose death. Be so for real right now, right? I'm saying, seems like there's a back and forth, right? But we heard some of these rumors long time ago, right? It's been what, 6 months, and we're barely getting somewhat of a confirmation.
And they knew about everything before they went to Los Angeles. And we're going to talk about this more, but that part of the transcript reads, and again, LAPD detectives are here to make sure they get a flight, they get a hotel, they get room and lodging, that it will not cause undue hardship to them, and that the court issue those subpoenas.
Wow, they are willing to just pay for the flights, pay for the hotel. Yo, the Burke family, it sounds like a vacation, y'all. You guys should just make a vacation out of it, right? Or come hang out with your son who's supposedly out here in LA.
On behalf of California. And then the judge says, okay, Mr. Martinez, yes, Your Honor, if I may just take a step back and advise the court of what we actually received this afternoon. Okay,
Ash.
We received from the state, at the request of the state of California, a subpoena for Colleen and Dawud Burke, a certification from a judge in California where it states that there is an affidavit attached from the Assistant District Attorney of Los Angeles, and we have the attestation from the clerk, and we have an affidavit from an Assistant District Attorney in Los Angeles, but it has been redacted.
I even heard that they had detectives out there in Houston just ready to start just cuffing them up and bring them home.
Now, I'm going to get more into exactly why this is significant in just a second. By the way, as we think about them testifying, what would they testify? We'll talk about that too. But also, would they plead the fifth, right? Something to think about. Here's another post from Steve. Quote, a Waller County, Texas court compelled David's parents and brother to travel to Los Angeles to appear before the grand jury on February 11th, 2026. That decision was appealed and a writ of habeas.
You know, I'm just seeing the word brother right here. And I was on Reddit earlier today, and I read something that I had no idea. I was always under the impression that David's brother Caleb was still a minor, that he was 16. But somebody on Reddit had mentioned that he is 18 years old. Did you guys know this? Or was I the only one? I could have sworn that he was a minor.
Habeas corpus was then filed on February 3rd, which was denied. It appears they have appeared before the judge, most likely invoking the 5th, but that is speculation on my part, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So see, he thinks the same thing I do. And that tweet included part of a court document which reads, the court ordered Mr. Burke to appear before the California grand jury on February 11th, 2026. A writ of habeas corpus was filed on February 3rd.
Rufio.
Writ challenged the ex parte nature of the proceeding.
We'll play that video after.
Cited deprivation of due process, incorrect application of Article 24.12 28, an incorrect finding that Mr. Burke's testimony was material and necessary. The court denied the writ on the merits. Again, we're going to talk all about that. But to cap off these bombshell revelations about the David case.
I mean, this whole time, right? This whole time we thought that David's brother was roughly around the same age as Celeste, if not maybe a year or two older, right? But if Celeste would have turned 15, she would have been 15 if she was still alive, right? And the court documents had mentioned that Caleb is an adult, so that makes him 3 years older than Celeste.
Steve actually shared more than 150 pages from Texas courts laying out what happened. And with that file came a long...
The boss bitch just gifted another 10 memberships, you guys. If you guys, please make sure you give the boss bitch, drop some, I don't know, what are we going to drop? What emojis can we drop in the chat for the boss bitch for supporting the channel heavy today? Wow. You guys all know that you guys really don't have to, right? Thank you so much. Damn, that's a lot of gifts that you sent out tonight. So thank you to Boss Bish.
Statement from this private investigator. Quote, Celeste Rivas Hernandez deserves better. It's infuriating that we're approaching 6 months and no charges have been filed in her murder. If the evidence hasn't been secured by now, what exactly is happening? Is this a blown investigation? We now know these monsters sawed off Celeste's arms and legs. Let's not call it dismemberment. That word sounds clinical, like a surgeon removed her limbs. This is not what happened.
That part threw me when I read that. We now know that these monsters sawed off Celeste's arms and legs. Let's not call this dismemberment, right? That word sounds clinical, like a surgeon removed her limbs. I was dying when I read that. He is pissed.
A vicious, sick group of people brutally hacked her arms and legs off her body. Was she alive when they started? And yes, I am using plural terms because in my...
I really can't believe that I read that. And when I was at work today, and I read this, Ash, thank you so much for your Venmo donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I just received it. Thank you. Wow. Y'all are supporting the channel heavy tonight, and I appreciate it, you guys. Today has been a crazy day. I'm not going to lie. I was up at maybe 3 o'clock in the morning when all of this information came out. And the moment it came out, I just dished it out to everybody to make sure that they had this information. So by the time their morning shows start, for all the larger creators, it was crazy. So yeah, I was up late just reading all this stuff. This was crazy. I wasn't ready for this at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Professional opinion, there is no way one person did this alone, whether participating directly or acting as an accessory. Yet only one individual is named as a target in the court filings. Like you, Neo Christopher Langston, you knew. I've seen family members publicly defend him and threaten lawsuits against anyone who names him. Sue me, I beg you, please sue me. Give me subpoena power. Give me the power of discovery, because that may be the only way the truth comes out. I beg of you, file that defamation suit. How do people like David,
she did.
Neo, and
she
Aysia.
did, and shout out to BJ for that. I don't ever, send any of the larger creators any information to get a shout out in return. But if they do, it's greatly and much appreciated. For channels that have hundreds of thousands of followers to shout me out. So, and I appreciate it. But just know, you guys never ever have to shout me out. I just want to make sure that, at the end of the day, we're all in this together and just trying to get justice for Celeste and everybody else out there who's been a victim, right?
Yeah. Live with themselves. 6 months, no charges, no press conference. But LAPD and the district attorney's office did issue a press release stating they had the medical examiner's autopsy and investigative findings sealed so detectives could review them first, claiming it was not meant to undermine transparency. They got that information, yet the records remained sealed. That press release misled the public. That press release was a lie. Another press release suggested the only potential criminal culpability might be concealment of a body. Talked about that before. They said that knowing Celeste's arms and legs had been sawed off. You came out with that press release knowing what had been done to her? If they do not have enough evidence to charge those responsible, then they need to say that plainly. Admit that after nearly 6 months, the investigation has not produced sufficient evidence to charge David Anthony Burke or anyone else who participated or was an accessory. Admit it's a blown investigation. Admit that important evidence was left behind after the search warrant. Admit that critical surveillance was lost because nobody followed up to obtain it. Celeste's head and torso were placed in one cadaver bag. Her arms and legs were placed in another. Someone purchased cadaver bag, cut her apart, placed her remains inside those bags, put her in the trunk of a Tesla, and went on with their lives.
Thank you, Ronan. I appreciate that, Ronan.
Bags. They went to the extent of purchasing cadaver bags, and still, 6 months later, there are no charges, no accountability, silence, sealed records. Threaten me with contempt all you want. I will proudly take that contempt charge for the pursuit of justice for Celeste Rivas-Hernandez. 6 months.
Damn. You guys hearing this? He said, threaten me with contempt all you want. I will proudly take that contempt charge in the pursuit of justice for Celeste Rivas-Hernandez. You know, some people may have their thoughts and their opinions on SF Investigates and the way that he's, you know, been doing his thing. But look, I'm going to say it again. If it wasn't for SF Investigates, we would know absolutely jack shit about this case, right? So you can hate him, but he's done nothing but provide us all the information about this case, because we know LAPD, right? Law enforcement's not giving us anything. So shout out to SF for just enlightening all of us and keeping us up to date with everything.
This is enough. Do your sworn duty or admit the case was failed. We need to let the LAPD and the DA's office know we are mad and this is not acceptable, and I wish her family would do the same. Here is the full 151-page court filing for anyone willing to read it. David Celeste Rivas-Hernandez. Well, I'll tell you, we read through it, and we're going to...
And then he dropped that whole 150-page appendix, and with all those attachments, yo, I'm not going to lie, I didn't have a chance to read much of it, but shout out to our legal correspondents in the chat. Was able to take a look at it, and yo, I'm telling you,
full 151-page court filing for anyone willing to read it.
You know, we don't.
Celeste
We don't
Rivas-Hernandez.
sleep over here, Barbara Bish. We got to make sure that everybody is up to date and aware with everything that's going on, and you know, it's the people like you guys in the chat that just are so hungry to get justice for this little girl, right? And all of you guys that are here, you guys. You know, you guys watch so many other channels too. You guys support your other favorite creators, and they're out there doing the same thing, you guys. And at the end of the day, we just want justice for Celeste.
I'll tell you, we read through it, and we're going to go through it. But obviously, he's upset, understandably so. And while we do not know what is going on behind the scenes and whether or not they are about to issue an indictment and whether or not anyone's about to be arrested, you can understand his frustration and how long this is going on. And if it seems that it's just David they may be going after. But I want to go through these court documents, try to make sense of what we're seeing. So, first, we have this petition on behalf of Dawud Burke.
Oh,
again,
hold on. We just got 2 Cash App donations. So thank you, Abraham, for your Cash App donation, and the Boss Bitch for another Cash App donation. You guys are amazing. You guys are, look, you guys don't have to send anything. You guys just being here and hanging out and just chilling with me, just giving me a platform to just kind of hang out with you guys and discuss the important things like getting justice for all of these victims, right? That's enough for me, you know? And anything on top of that is just a bonus, you guys.
We've talked about this before. It's an unusual filing. It's a habeas petition. Usually you see habeas petitions when someone's already been convicted, they're in prison, they're trying to say that their detention's unlawful, that there's new evidence that's come out, they're trying to get their conviction thrown out, a new trial. So this one's a little different. But basically the argument is they're saying that the family members' rights are being violated, to have to testify, to be compelled to be transported to another state to provide testimony. And this was filed out in Waller County, Texas. There was an order from January 18th for Colleen Burke, the mother here, to appear before the Texas court to explain why she shouldn't have to appear before the grand jury in LA, why she shouldn't have to comply.
The permission slip. Welcome to the inner circle. Thank you for joining and becoming a member.
The subpoena. You go to page 13. I want to bring your attention to this actual subpoena that was issued to Dawud Burke from Nathan Hockman, signed by Beth Silverman.
You guys, Abraham, I don't know if I'm doing good work. You know, I'm just making sure some of my favorite content creators are getting the information as fast as they can, so then that way they can report it too. That's all I'm doing. You know, there's a ton of people behind the scenes that are doing great work too. You know, I mean, if you guys are following the Reddits, those people are doing crazy work there.
Ordering Dawud to appear before the grand jury in LA on February 11th. So you're not even just seeing Steve's interpretation of the filings. You're actually seeing it. These are actual court documents. And in this subpoena, it is explained to Dawud that the grand jury is secret. Don't tell anyone about this. I mean, other than your attorney. Page 15. There's a court document. It's from Judge Craig Richmond, judge of the Superior Court in LA, certifying there is a grand jury proceeding in the case of Dawud Burke, that Beth Silverman is requesting Dawud to appear and provide material and necessary testimony. What could that be? Well, we don't know exactly for sure, though. I'll get a little bit more into it. Maybe it's just the family saying, yeah, that was his Tesla. It was registered to him. But again, going back, that Dawud would get round-trip airline tickets, transportation. But now I want to get into the document that Steve took a screenshot of. It is a petition for attendance of out-of-state witness. They were filed for Colleen, Caleb, and Dawud, with the main crux of the filings being the same, but there's some slight differences that we'll get into. But this is...
And just FYI, we have our legal correspondent in the chat, one of our mods. And if you guys have any questions that, you know, you might possibly want to get clarified, Chloe can definitely help you out. So make sure you guys shout out Chloe in the chat.
This is the real details about the case that we want to get into. Quote, it is alleged in this case that the target may be involved in the death of 14-year-old victim Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who may have been a victim of foul play. Her severely decomposed, dismembered body, there was a mixed reporting on whether it was dismembered body, was found in the front trunk of Target's Tesla on September 8th, 2025. On September 8th, 2025, at approximately 10:30 hours, Los Angeles Police Department detectives received a phone call from the manager of Hollywood.
Yeah, shout out to Chloe. She read all 150 pages. Dear Lord, God bless your soul, Chloe.
Official police garage. The manager stated a black Tesla Model X had been impounded as an abandoned vehicle by the Department of Transportation on September 5th, 2025. The manager told police there was a strong smell of decay coming from the vehicle, which was attracting flies. LAPD detectives responded to the Hollywood tow yard to investigate. Detectives approached the vehicle, which was parked on the upper deck of the impound lot, and immediately noticed the smell of decaying biological material consistent with a decomposing corpse coming from the front storage compartment of the vehicle. Detectives obtained a search warrant for the vehicle, and when the front storage compartment was opened, detectives observed a black cadaver bag covered with insects and a strong odor of decay. Utilizing black latex gloves, detectives partially unzipped the bag and observed a decomposed head and torso.
That broke my heart to hear. I can't believe that we actually got answers, right? There was so much back and forth whether she was dismembered, there was disarticulation, she was put in a what is it called? What do they call those bags for suits and stuff? That she was put in one of those, that they used the tarp. But now we know today that there was an actual cadaver bag. Not only that, but she was dismembered and had her arms and her legs in one bag. And there was her head and the torso in another. A garment bag. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. That shit broke my fucking heart to read in black and white.
The bag and observed a decomposed head and torso. Investigators and criminalists from the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner responded to the tow yard to process the decomposed body. Upon removing the cadaver bag from the front storage compartment, it was discovered the arms and legs had been severed from the body. A second black bag was discovered underneath the cadaver bag. Upon opening the second bag, the dismembered body parts were discovered. Detectives were advised that on August 26, 2020...
And who was... There was one, I think it was Sloan. Sloan came out and did a video, and there was a lot of, a lot of people were skeptical about the video that he put out, because he kind of dropped some information claiming that he had a source with the medical examiner, and he was mentioning something about her body being in 3 bags, right? And if I'm not mistaken, Matt Thibodeau came out. He put a video out, and I think it was him that mentioned that her body was placed in some sort of a Vortex bag, something like that, some sort of like a plastic bag. I don't know if you guys remember that. Am I tripping? You guys remember that? It's not just me, right?
A citizen reported the above-mentioned Tesla as an abandoned vehicle parked across from 1405 Bluebird Street. On August 27, 2025, Department of Transportation officers responded to Bluebird and marked the vehicle. On September 3, 2025, Department of Transportation returned to the vehicle and issued a citation. On September 5, 2025, Department of Transportation impounded the vehicle to Hollywood Area Tow. It was noted that the Tesla was registered to target David Anthony Burke in Hempstead, Texas. David, who was a singer and performing artist, was on tour at the time his vehicle was impounded. And then the next section is different for each witness, so you have differences between affidavits seen further down, like Caleb. Detectives learn that Caleb Burke is the younger brother
Abraham.
of target.
What was the need? Why would anybody need to purchase a body bag, right? We know that there was a casket that was at one of his shows. I'm curious if these body bags were purchased at the same time this casket was. Did they buy it on Amazon? Did they also use gift cards to order these body bags? This shit is crazy, you guys.
David Burke and has a close relationship with him. Detectives learn that Colleen Burke is the mother of target David Burke and has a close relationship with him. Per several witnesses, she is instrumental to his career success
or to dispose of a body, right, Ronan?
Business finances. Detectives learn that Dawud Burke is the father of target David Burke and has a close relationship with him. And then there's a large chunk of text that is redacted too. Just want to make note of that. From there, we have this application for writ.
That's right, Stars. That's right. You did reach out to Josh DeBose from KTLA, and he mentioned this long time ago, right? That the body was KTLA. KTLA, if I'm not mistaken, KTLA was the very first media outlet to mention that her body was dismembered, and everybody from then on was just kind of like, I don't know, KTLA, who's your source? What do you know? And then I think some other large media outlets started running with that too.
Of habeas corpus. So the basic argument is that under Texas law, a court can only force a resident to testify in another state after there is a meaningful hearing, a meaningful notice.
Oh, was the argument Obsidian? It was LA Times that was the first one to report that? Okay, cool. I stand corrected then. Thank you. Thank you.
Is Dawud, and maybe everybody else here, the other family members, never saw the full documents that would justify them going to LA to have to testify, that there's not enough to justify them going there. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole legal argument, but you get the main idea that no one should be confined or restrained, especially imprisoned.
Yo, the boss just gifted 20. Holy smokes. The boss Bish just gifted 20 memberships. Damn, was it payday? Did y'all get paid? Look, work, I need to check my bank account because it's supposed to be payday too, and I didn't get nothing.
If they don't comply with a subpoena unless they have meaningful notice, a meaningful understanding of what all this is about. But later on, you'll see there was an order by the court where that writ of habeas corpus was denied. Now, there's more, but those are some of the pertinent parts we have so far up to page 50. We go further into this filing. There's a section in this filing called Transcripts and Exhibits. This is important. I want to talk about this. And it contains the petitions to appear again, as well as transcripts from multiple hearings. So the first hearing was in Waller County, Texas on January 23rd, 2026. And this one only concerned Colleen and Caleb. They were there, not Dawud for some reason. Plus, you had 2 LAPD homicide detectives who could testify if it was needed. Mia Magnus represented Texas as well as California, basically by proxy. She told the court, quote, "So Judge, I'm stepping..."
And again, the Boss Bish, thank you so much. For those of you guys that were gifted memberships, please make sure you thank the Boss Bish. She's on a roll, you guys. Someone tell her to stop. Someone put a cap on it. Tell her to stop.
this last minute as well, but my understanding is that there is a grand jury investigation that is being conducted in California and Los Angeles County. These two individuals have been summoned to appear for purposes of the grand jury presentation. The prosecutors in Los Angeles have executed all of the paperwork that is necessary. It has gone before, I believe they call them the Superior Court judge there, who has signed off and done all the necessary certifications. And so under Texas law, Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 24.28, which is the Uniform Act to secure attendance of witnesses from without the state, are now before you for the court to make a determination that California has complied with the rules that would authorize a Texas court, you being a district court judge, to review the paperwork and then order that these witnesses appear before the grand jury in California. Then you had Kent Schaefer, who represented...
Hold on one second, you guys. Hold on. Maybe I'm not looking right, but I'm looking at TMZ's website right now, and did they post any of this today? I'm scrolling through the website and I don't see a single post from them regarding everything that came out today. What is... hold on. I'm gonna wait for y'all to respond in the chat because I don't see shit. Anna says, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm all the way down to the bottom. It says read more stories. There's absolutely nothing. This is... TMZ is silent. The foot, right? Oh, are they waiting for another ransom letter or what? Is that why, Chloe? They're busy with the... I mean, you know, Nancy deserves all the attention that she's getting too. And we hope that, you know, they find her soon. But Harvey and TMZ are just dead silent, you guys. They are dead silent. Oh, no, wrong one. Oh, no, wrong one. There you go. That's the right one. TMZ. We're waiting.
David's mother had this to say, quote, "So on behalf of Colleen Burke, our position is that the request or the summons and the request for issuance of the subpoena is unconstitutional in violation of the Texas and the United States constitutions in that it denies the witness Colleen Burke notice and due process inasmuch as Article 24.28 Section B, which governs, says that the court has to make a determination that the witness is material and necessary and that it will not cause undue hardship to be compelled to attend and testify. All we have been served with so far is a notice to appear here today, so it is virtually impossible for us to address materiality and necessity when we don't even know what the subject matter is that would be explored with our client." But Magnus argued that the determination about materiality of these witnesses, that was already made by a California judge. So all the Texas judge needs to do was just make sure the paperwork was all in order, tell the witnesses they need to go. And the judge says that
absolutely not,
since
Kimberly.
This was so last minute,
at least not with Harvey in him.
He doesn't even have any of that paperwork. So they end up deciding to reschedule the hearing for several days later. And at that February 2nd hearing in Texas, you have Colleen, Caleb, and Dawud. They were all there with counsel. Bennett Dodson is the assistant DA of Waller County, told the court, "I don't think it's a secret to anyone at this point that Mr. David Burke is a musician who's quite famous, and this matter concerns a car that was registered to him at these witnesses' address here in Houston that had a dismembered, decomposing body in it. I would say if a car with a dismembered, decomposing body is registered to your home address, that is something you should expect to be questioned by the authorities about, and that's what this is, Judge." So there you go. There you go. That's probably what they'd be forced to testify about. But the attorneys for David's family members argued that everyone involved in both California and Texas courts, the judges, the prosecutors, they had seen the unredacted affidavit. But their clients, they only got the redacted version, so it's limited. And they want to know what's in that. They want to know what's in that big blacked out section of the petitions. And again, goes back to the legal argument. Hey, we have a right to know what this is all about under habeas before relinquishing our freedom, right, to go and have to testify. So you had Dodson say that most of that information in the affidavit's not a secret. It's already known to the public, saying, quote, "It's all over TMZ." Goes on to say, "The redacted information concerns knowledge that is only known to the grand jury, period. It has not been distributed anywhere." What was the judge's decision? Here's from the court, quote, But even when I look at it
They got
myself,
him,
I
huh?
still think these witnesses are material and necessary because of the relationship that's involved with the witnesses and the defendant. So my ruling is going to be that they are to go to California and honor the subpoena by California. And the judge read out an official summons to Colleen, Dawud, Caleb, with Caleb scheduled to appear before the grand jury on February 10th, Dawud, Colleen, February 11th, with LA prosecutors paying for the round-trip airline tickets and transportation to and from court for all three. There you go. Some new information, seemingly some confirmations of material that we haven't had in quite some time. Obviously, we will stay on this case as we learn more. That's all we have for you right now here on.
All right, so that was Jesse Weber on Sidebar with Law and Crime. Let's see what else there is. Let's see what Matt Thibodeau has to say. Did he put out a video? No? No. I think it was just a regular upload. Let's see what he has to say. So he put out a video today too.
Rivas Hernandez case has been moving extremely slow. We're coming up on about 6 months since she was found in the front of David's Tesla. A couple of months ago, we did find out that a grand jury was convening when it comes to this case. Last month, we found out that the grand jury was convening in a case against David, but we didn't know exactly what law enforcement was planning to charge David with. Well, now we are finding out that they are actively trying to build a case against him for murder. In this document right here, I'm going to read it to you guys. It says there is now pending in the
DJ See No Evil. I think you have to enable it in your settings if you're trying to be gifted a membership. So if anybody knows how to enable that, please help our boy out, DJ See No Evil, and then I'll read your comment out for him.
The Superior Court of the County of Los Angeles, the above entitled grand jury investigation by the state of California against target David Burke, wherein target may be involved in having committed the following criminal offenses against the laws of the state of California, to wit, 1 count of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A. The document goes on to say a grand jury investigation is currently pending at the Los Angeles County Superior Court. It is alleged in this case that the target, David, may be involved in the death of 14-year-old victim Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who may have been a victim of foul play. Her severely decomposed, dismembered body was found in the front trunk of Target's Tesla on September 8th, 2025. On September 8th, 2025, at approximately 10:30 in the morning.
Hold on. The boss bitch, what are you doing? Oh my Lord. Yo, you are wild. Yo, shout out to the boss bitch. I can confirm what she just put in the chat. Wow. I don't know what to say, you guys. This is wild. That's so wild. I don't deserve this, you guys. This is crazy. The boss bitch, thank you so much. And Mama Jax just sent 5 gifted memberships. Wow. Thank you, you guys. Y'all gonna make me cry. Damn. Thank you.
LAPD detectives received a phone call from the manager of Hollywood Area Official Police Garage. The manager stated a black Tesla Model X had been impounded as an abandoned vehicle by the Department of Transportation on September 5th, 2025. The manager told police that there was a strong smell of decay coming from the vehicle, which was attracting flies. Detectives obtained a search warrant for the vehicle, and when the front storage compartment was open, detectives observed a black cadaver bag covered with insects and a strong odor of decay. Utilizing black latex gloves, detectives partially unzipped the bag and observed a decomposed head and torso. Investigators and criminalists from the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner responded to the tow yard to process the decomposed body. Upon removing the cadaver bag from the front storage compartment, it was discovered the arms and legs had been severed from the body. A second black bag was discovered underneath the cadaver bag. Upon opening the second bag, the dismembered body parts were discovered. Detectives were...
I'm sorry to interrupt this, but can I just say that I have some of the best people in the chat since the day that I started streaming, you know? You guys have been so amazing, and then for some of you members who have taken the time to join the Discord, where a lot of this conversation just kind of continues, right? We can't stream 24/7, but we do have a Discord where we actually continue the conversation, and we have some really intelligent people who share their thoughts, who share a lot of content, and keep everybody updated with all of the latest stuff regarding these cases. So if you are a member, or if you were gifted a membership, we do have a Discord that I would like to just invite you guys to join. We have some really cool people there, right? And you can just, for all the people that are in the Discord, you guys, can you just let the people who aren't in the Discord know, like, how poppin' it is? It you guys are all amazing. That's I don't know what else to say. You guys are really some amazing people.
Advised that on August 26, 2025, a citizen reported the above-mentioned Tesla as an abandoned vehicle parked across from the 1405 Bluebird Street area. On August 27, 2025, the Department of Transportation officers responded to Bluebird and marked the vehicle. On September 3, 2025, the Department of Transportation returned to the vehicle and issued a citation. On September 5, 2025, the Department of Transportation impounded the vehicle to the Hollywood tow yard. It was noted that the Tesla was registered to David Anthony Burke, the target. So a lot was clarified in these documents. It's just a matter of whether or not this grand jury is going to see enough evidence presented to get David Anthony Burke indicted on a murder charge. Obviously, we know his family was not trying to testify in front of this grand jury, as previously discussed. A couple of his friends were trying to not have to testify in front of this grand jury. So does that imply knowledge on their parts to some degree? What do you guys think about all of this? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to read these documents, I'm going to post them on my FB page.
And Katz here said it too, right? I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning last night, and truly, the people on the Discord were the first ones to know about this. Kimberly, I'm old too, right? But if I can figure it out, we can help you figure it out too. Yeah, you guys are amazing people. Like, when I'm at work and I have a break, the first thing I do is go and check the Discord and see what updates you guys have provided, what intelligent conversations you guys are having. It's just crazy. Like, I look forward to hopping on the Discord and just chatting with you guys. So thank you guys. Y'all really gonna make me cry. Stop. Let's see what CBS has to say about the family being ordered to testify in LA's grand jury investigation.
Tonight, a major development in the case of a teenager.
Dave, you really didn't know about all of this until 5 this evening? Oh, yeah, this happened like, just here to investigate posted some documents on Reddit, and you know, as soon as I got the notification, it was just like, let me read this really quick, let me put this in the Discord, and then let me let everybody know, because tomorrow is going to be a busy day.
Whose body was found in an abandoned car owned by singer David. We now have confirmation the singer is the target of a grand jury murder investigation. Lori Perez joins us from the newsroom now with new information from court orders sent to the singer's family. Lori.
Well, Rudabeh, we want to be clear. David still has not been named a suspect in the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, but court documents sent to his family refer to him as Target David Burke, who may have committed a criminal offense, one count of murder. In these newly obtained grand jury subpoenas sent to singer David's parents and brother, prosecutors say the
Miss Dizzle, why'd you delete the Discord? I told you that I'd help you figure it out. Why?
20-year-old, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, may be involved in the death of 14-year-old victim Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who may have been a victim of foul play. It's the first time there's been an official suggestion of a connection between the singer and the teen's death. Prosecutors have not yet publicly named Burke as a suspect, nor even publicly classified the case as a homicide. But these court filings give new details about her gruesome death, saying police found her body decapitated, dismembered.
Whoa, hold on. Because here they're saying, hold on. I need to hear this one more time, because I just heard the word decapitated.
saying police found her body decapitated, dismembered, of a connection between the singer and the teen's death. Prosecutors have not yet publicly named Burke as a suspect, nor even publicly classified the case as a homicide. But these court filings give new details about her gruesome death, saying police found her body decapitated, dismembered, and bagged up in parts in the trunk of Burke's Tesla.
Hold on. CBS is saying that the documents state that she was decapitated. Can somebody in the chat just clarify? There was nothing in those documents that said that she was decapitated, right? Just dismembered?
That was back in September. The teen had been missing for more than a year, and police confirmed she and Burke had a relationship. The question is, why is it taking so long to name a suspect and file charges? Defense attorney Lou Shapiro.
So far, it seems like a case built on circumstantial evidence. They don't have a confession. They don't have an eyewitness to the actual crime. So they have to pick from pieces of evidence and try to put it together like a puzzle. And that's why it's taking a long.
Okay, so Darcy said correct. I didn't read decap. Yeah, it's weird. I wonder why CBS is saying this information, because it's not true, right? I don't know, Mollywood. I don't count. You know, I just make sure that the people that I watch and that I support get the information as soon as they can. I don't count how many people shout me out. I really don't. But you guys, you know, I'm sure most of you guys see me active in all of their chats too, because I support them. You know, I support a lot of these content creators because I like them. You know, everybody has a ton of great insight, and obviously because I do contribute to this space too. You know, I have people that I look up to. You know,
long time because they don't have that smoking gun evidence that they like to have.
Burke's family members who live in Texas are fighting the summons to appear in an LA court. It's only because of their challenge that the grand jury proceedings, which are always confidential in both Texas and California, were made public. Shapiro says the family is likely trying to avoid implicating Burke or getting pulled into the case themselves. And he says the subpoenas suggest something about what prosecutors have.
That also tells us that the government's case is probably pretty weak right now. Because if they're having to try to go to family members of the suspect to try to indict him, then that means they don't have as much evidence as they would like to have. And therefore, they are going that extra mile to see if family members will turn on him. They want to know what statements, what text messages, any correspondence he has had with family members that could potentially incriminate him or tie him to the murder of this woman.
So Cindy said that LAPD captain told KABC TV that the body was at least partially dismembered, but not decapitated. I do remember something like that coming out. So thank you, Cindy, for the clarification. Let's see. SF said the head was removed from her torso. I do remember reading this in an article as well. The head was removed from her torso. Can't remember which outlet it was, but I do remember reading this in an article. This was definitely reported.
Texas Appeals Court is still considering.
I think who did NBC put out a video too? Let's see, because this video right here from NBC, this one is saying that David is being named as a suspect, right? Obviously, it could just be terminology that they're using, but this is what they have to say about it.
14-year-old Celeste Rivas is now being considered a murder. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Annabelle Sedano. You may remember Rivas's body was found inside the front trunk of a Tesla owned by pop singer David. NBC4 Investigates just obtained some newly unsealed documents. Our investigative reporter Eric Leonard first broke the story back in September. He's been reading through those court documents and joins us live with what we know about the murder so far. Eric, and there's
David is guilty. You got to change your name to David is the suspect.
some shocking things in that filing.
Certainly unsettling. And it was a court hearing in Texas that has given us insight into this case that we ordinarily would never see here in Southern California. And that's because the investigation is still wrapped up in a secret grand jury investigation into the teen's death. These documents out of Texas say it is a murder case, that the pop singer is the target or suspect, and that the girl's remains were found in a horrific state. Grand jury subpoenas and documents that were filed in Texas show LA County prosecutors are investigating the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
I'll show you guys an article after
Those
this.
documents say David, whose legal name is David Burke, is the target of that murder case. Rivas Hernandez's remains were found in September when the Tesla registered to Burke was impounded. These new court records say Rivas Hernandez was found dismembered in the front trunk of the car, her remains in 2 different bags. Rivas Hernandez was last seen alive in 2024, and our law enforcement sources have told NBC4 Investigates they believe she died sometime in the spring of 2025. And again, the reason this became public now is because Burke's mother, father, and brother filed a legal challenge to those subpoenas for their testimony and tried unsuccessfully to get a judge in Texas to block the enforcement of the LA County court order. So the LA County grand jury investigation has been something.
Hey, DJ See No Evil, it looks like you were gifted a membership, and it looks like you're now a member. So congratulations. Welcome to the inner circle.
Of an open secret around LA, with various witnesses being brought in to testify about the death. But this is the first time we've seen in black and white court filings that her death is considered a murder and that Burke, known as David, is the named suspect. Someone we believe to be his defense lawyer has not returned any of our calls. Reporting live, I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News.
All right, so here, let me go ahead and pull up this article right over here from TMZ, right? So TMZ put out an article. This was on November 23rd, 2025, at David's house. I guess this was, you guys remember when this article came out? This was that day that they were just going back and forth and dropping article after article after article. And everybody was like, breaking news, the kitchen has a freezer in it, right? You guys remember that one? That day was crazy. It was literally like right before Thanksgiving, right? This is the article, though. It says singer David, a suspect in the presumed homicide of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, had a freezer large enough to store a body, a relevant fact since her body had apparently been frozen for months. Check out this photo of David's rental home. It was taken a few years ago, and it shows the kitchen had a KitchenAid refrigerator/freezer. Wow. The freezer side of the appliance has a height of around 74 inches, a width of around 14 inches, and a depth of roughly 27 inches. The temperature can get as low as -8 degrees Fahrenheit. So here's where TMZ reported, right? Celeste was 5'3" and 120 pounds. TMZ, oh, this is why they're not reporting on it, you guys. No wonder. TMZ had reported that it was decapitated and the arms and limbs cut off. So they did get this right? So it could have fit in the freezer if the shelving inside had been removed. By the way, a torso for a 5'3" woman falls between 15 and 17 inches. What the fuck? And 14 to 15 inches wide. Yo, they are wilding out. So here, TMZ reported that she was decapitated. Mind you, we don't know if police have zeroed in on this freezer, but as we first reported, yeah, TMZ, you guys first reported it, right? The body was partially frozen when it was found. This after an extended period of time in David's trunk back in August when it was hot in LA. The LAPD executed a search warrant on the home shortly after the body was discovered. So here was that freezer. I think whose house was this at? This was at a producer's house who said he bought the freezer for his girlfriend so they can have Dippin' Dots. You guys remember that? Let's see this video. We're not going to play no audio. I'm not about to have this video copywritten. There's that freezer box. Oops. One more time. There it is again. And then let's see here. So that was November 23rd, right? And then let's see. Okay, so here, actually, I should have shown this article first because they put out this article the day before on November 22nd. They put that Celeste Rivas's body had been frozen. As a result, it looks like the LA County Medical Examiner will not be able to establish a cause of death. Sources directly connected to the investigation tell TMZ, according to those sources, the medical examiner received the body in horrendous condition. It was decapitated, and while the torso was intact, the limbs had been removed and cut into multiple pieces. Now, this is crazy right here, right? Notice how they say the limbs had been removed and cut into multiple pieces. So that doesn't just mean that they removed her upper and her lower extremities as a whole. There's a possibility that once they removed the left arm and the right arm, or the right leg and the left leg, that they continued to cut her extremities down into smaller pieces. This is damn. That's crazy. And you know what? They said it in the court documents too. I hope that she was not alive. That is crazy. I hope she was not alive. She didn't feel anything when this was happening, because if she was, I don't know. I can't even think about that. And then let me see. There was an article that came out on November 25th. Right? So this is a couple of months ago. ABC 7. Even ABC 7 put it down. It's here in their title. Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body. Oh, okay. So this one's saying the opposite. Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body was not frozen. Here, let's go listen to what she has to say. Let's see.
This is a global.
Oh, no, we're not listening to no ads. Come on now. So it says that she was not frozen nor decapitated, police say. So, come on, ad. Let me catch up on the chat. Now I know why SF dropped the documents. They were unsealed today. Actually, Cindy, what I heard is that in the state of Texas, the court documents weren't sealed to begin with. So once that happened, let me see. Are they talking about the case? Oh no, this is the raid that happened today. Can you guys believe that they raided the head of the LAUSD? The Los Angeles Unified School District, they raided his house today. This is crazy. But here it says reports of Celeste. I'm going to have to refresh this because I want to see what this video says. Please don't play an ad.
The LAPD now releasing new details in Celeste Rivas Hernandez's death investigation. Police saying they have evidence that the singer David traveled to the Santa Barbara area during spring of this year. The reason for the trip is still under investigation, including whether, if at all, it is relevant to the case. Police
That's right, Obsidian.
They were today that
they were on a Texas website. That's right.
The teen's body being found frozen and decapitated are not true. This case is taking lots of twists and turns. Let's walk you through the timeline. Back in April of 2024, Celeste Rivas Hernandez was reported missing from Lake Elsinore.
Hey, Master
in the
Death,
spring
what's up?
Of this year, David takes a trip to Santa Barbara. That trip is now being investigated. On September 8th.
Yeah, and this is probably the biggest curveball that they threw at us, right? This whole trip to Santa Barbara. None of us know anything about this. I mean, I don't think there's anything documented that can literally put him in Santa Barbara, which is really, really, really weird. Yeah, too much news today. Unredacted files also released. Uh-oh. I don't know if it's the director or the superintendent, but it was the person who sits all the way at the top. And it was crazy because when I heard, I don't know exactly the reason why, but the number that I heard just kind of like rang a bell in my ear. They mentioned something about like a $6 million something. And I was like, oh shit, ransom? I don't know. Don't quote me on it. I'm just saying I heard $6 million and my ears just started ringing. Started saying Santa Barbara is a red herring. You think so? I did public records request for those petitions and I was denied everything. Wow. It was all fully sealed. So I think it possibly was a mistake, but it's too late for them to fix now. Again, if performing on the 11th and 20th at Coachella, when did he go? That's a great question. Permission slip, so it was the superintendent? Yikes. Can I do one more? I don't want to see you cry tears of joy. What are you talking about, Dabish? What are you talking about, the boss Bish? You want to do one more what? You want to do what is it that you want to do? I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Chat? No. Tell her no. Chat, tell the boss bitch no. Hopefully they have a lot of evidence not available to the public, like GPS records from the phone, the cars, social media apps, etc. I hope so too, right? Mark Garagos has been saying how many times on the the two Angry Men podcast that they've triangulated this down to the second, right? So I think there's going to be a lot. Who said Cash App? Whitney said you can do it. Oh my lord. Gifted membership? No. I don't know what y'all talking about. What y'all talking about, y'all?
8th, Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body was found inside a Tesla belonging to David in a South LA tow yard. 2 months later, on November 18th, David was named a suspect in the case. And last Friday, a security hold was placed on the...
Well, David wasn't named a suspect, right? I do believe that they were saying that he is being viewed as a suspect, but hasn't been officially named as one.
Case at the request of the LAPD. That means no medical examiner records, including the teen's cause of death, can be released until the court order is lifted.
To buy or not.
Whoa. The boss bitch wants to do a poll. Should we let her do a poll? Jesus says no. Here, let's see. Did we watch this one already? I think we just watched.
Nothing like a day.
The documents are all public, and they may have been public this whole time. I am paying attention to boss. Oops, hold on.
A 14-year-old girl. Court documents out of Texas are now confirming the singer known as David is a suspect in the brutal murder of a 14-year-old girl. They back up what sources have already been telling ABC News. Our investigative reporter, Kevin Osbeck, has been sifting through the dozens of pages that contain graphic details about the crime. He joins us now in the newsroom with more. Kevin?
And Mark, we are getting new insights into this case, all because these documents were unsealed out of Texas. That's where David, officially known as Dawud Burke, is from, and that's where his family still lives. Now, these documents include petitions for his parents to come here to Los Angeles and testify in front of a grand jury. And in these petitions, Dawud Burke is referred to as the target. They say the target may be involved in having committed the following criminal offenses: 1 count of murder, and that the target may be involved in the death of a 14-year-old victim named Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who may have been a victim of foul play. Hernandez's body was found decomposing inside Dawud Burke's Tesla late last year. That Tesla was parked at a Hollywood tow lot. Now, in these newly unsealed court docs, they also contain some new gruesome and very disturbing details. Not only was the body of Hernandez decomposing, it was also dismembered. These documents detail how her body parts were found in 2 separate bags in a front storage compartment of that Tesla. Now, as far as the petition to get David's parents to Los Angeles to go in front of that grand jury, their attorney tells me they're still fighting that appearance. Now, they argue their due process rights are being violated. Today, we did also reach out to David's publicist, but as of right now, we have not yet heard back. Live in the newsroom, Kevin Osbeck.
All right, Kevin Osbeck. Let's go to X, because I wanna talk about these tweets that came out, right? Let me see. Hold on. I think we have to go. Is this his actual page? No, these are his replies. So let's go to his posts. I want to talk about this one. This one, it says, "Hey David, were you sitting on this hill next to a drainage gully thinking about what you did to her? Were you thinking about how it looked and sounded when you sawed her body into pieces?" And SF Investigates posted 4 photos, which is very odd. I found it very odd and disturbing that David has multiple photos taken. Oh, you know what? Actually, I think these are all in the same area. But here we see him sitting. I don't know. It looks like a dreamy effect that he put on. This is probably in the Angeles National Forest. This just screams Angeles National Forest right over here. I wish you would have posted the dates of these two. I wonder if this was on January 2nd as well. We do know that this was taken on December 30th, if I'm not mistaken. The bloom effect, says Ronan. Maybe they got these from the Criminal Court of Appeals and not the First District Court of Appeals. In Texas, the Criminal Court of Appeal has final say over all criminal matters and was built to relieve the Supreme Court. Ooh. Hold on. Let me see, because I think I have a photo of it too. Where's it at? Master Death was saying something about the knives. Let me see. Let me see if I have it. It's here somewhere. What are we looking at? Stars, are you still in here? And Stars, if you are, you have that photo of the suitcase. Let me see if I can find it on Discord. Oh, let's see. Chromacopia. Oh yeah, that video too. We actually did a video on that. Hold on. Let me see. I'll pull up the short that I did on this one. Then I'm gonna have to pause it when it gets to the actual song. So I don't know. I just did this short a long time ago, but it was just weird.
Bro, look at this knife I got, bro. Chromium. Chromacopia. Chromacopia. Oh, you said don't show it? You can't? I can't? Chromacopia. Are you for real? Chromacopia. You lying. You lying. You lying. You lying.
And then there's just a song. There's a song that Tyler the Creator had called "I Killed You." It was just weird that all of this was said, and then he yelled out "Chromacopia." That was what I have. Let me see. We watched this one already. This was the one that just came out. Hold on. Let me find another one. There's another. Hold on.
Less body was
Trying to find this Nancy Grace video. Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? Bombshell arrest, defense, bombshell.
Well,
hold on. I think we may have found it. No, it's not this one. Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. Those knives are illegal. So let me see if I got it. Okay. Thank you, Stars. I'll show you guys that video of or not video. It's a photo of David with the suitcase just full of knives. It's just odd, very eerie and disturbing. All right, we found it. We found it. We found it. It's under David. Look at this. You guys seen this photo? I got it. I got it. I got it. Thank you. MacDizzle. MacDizzle, did you just get here? You late. Peekaboo, that's right. Chromacopia is an album by Tyler, the Creator. And there's a song on there called, I think it's called Bitch, I Killed You. Can't remember if that's what it actually is. But it was just funny because there's a part in there that was just really like, ugh, didn't sound well. Switchblades used to be illegal across the whole USA, but about 10 years ago, they loosened up and allowed ones that flip open from the side. Personal eighths, I didn't know that. Yeah, Michi, let us know. Let us know. I don't know. I mean, Tyler, the Creator, has a very large catalog, and you know some of his lyrics are a little questionable. I don't know. I mean, is it a reach to say that you know, that there's any coincidence? I don't know. I mean, you guys can listen to that song. I don't know. It was just the here. Let me see if I can pull up the lyrics. Hold on. Tyler, the Creator. All right, let's see. Let's see. Oh, this was a part right here. It says, bitch, I killed you with Jerry's and Mimi's. I burnt you. I cut you. I filled you up with chemies. Forced you to relax. You was thick. You was BB. Couldn't take the heat. You're gone when they see me. Yeah, bitch, I killed you. That part was just weird. So, I mean, if you go to my page and you look for the short that I did, I don't know. It was just weird that he just mentioned Chromacopia. And, you know, I went to look up the album, saw the song, listened to it. It was just weird. Bitch, I killed you with Jerry's and Mimi's. I burnt you. I cut you. I filled you up with chemies. Forced you to relax. You was thick. You was BB. Couldn't take the heat, so you were gone when they see me. Yeah, bitch, I killed you. That's crazy. Hold on. Let's see if this is it.
Time.
Hold on. Trying to find this Nancy Grace video where she talks about the Tesla. Let's see. I want to let Tyler babysit my fish. When did it come out? I wonder if it's inspired romantic homicide. 2024? Song came out 2024. Album was on Chromacopia. Could there be? I don't know. LAPD has been covering up for the A-Croners for a very long time. This is another story for another day, but Port of LA opened a container of 17,000 fetuses. Oh my God, Mollywood, what? Storm said, I wouldn't let any of them babysit a rag. Yikes. That's crazy. Mollywood, I'm going to have to look into this. What? They sold it? I love Tyler. Been a fan from the start. You just have to know him, right? Yeah, it's his style. Right? I mean, obviously, that's just his niche in music, but I don't know if he's really about that life. I don't know. Tyler, Neo, and David, they all pirates. Oh, Tambo, we can help you. Do you have your I don't know. What is it saying? What's the issue that you're getting when you try? I don't know if you saw the FloJo utilizing black latex gloves. Detectives partially unzipped the bag and observed the decomposed head and the torso. Yeah. I mean, we talked about that a little bit earlier, but let's see. I kind of want to replay this a little bit because this was really interesting. So I'm just going to kind of replay the interview that came out on News Nation. It wasn't on YouTube, but this was what I found. This was on YouTube TV. So I'm just going to, oh, you're having password issues. Is there a way that you can reset your password, Tambo? Try to reset your password and then try to relog back in. Because a few of our members had that issue. But here, let's listen to this Jesse Weber again from earlier today. Hold on, let me just bring this back just a little bit.
Initial reports indicated that her body wasn't just decomposed, that it had been dismembered. Today, we may have finally gotten confirmation of that disturbing detail, and also official confirmation that there is a real active criminal case against David for a charge of murder. And this is all thanks to previously sealed court records that were obtained by private investigator Steve Fischer, which he released to the public. He's going to come on in a minute. But the records
MacDizzle, that's my favorite group ever.
Are tied to the
Bone
Los
Thugs?
Angeles County grand jury investigation against the singer. And they contain allegations that when detectives discovered Celeste's body in the trunk of that Tesla, it wasn't in one, but two bags, including one identified as, quote, a cadaver bag. Yeah, one body, two separate bags. And I don't know, call it ironic or not, but we are learning all of this is thanks to David's family. You see, his Houston-based father and other relatives, they were served a summons to testify in the pop star's case back in January. But when they tried to fight it, their legal battle, which contained these documents, became public record thanks to Texas law. And again, Steve. Now, these documents raise some very big questions about the strength of the case against the singer, because prosecutors have seemingly known these details for months, right? And finding a body in two separate bags sure seems like something that would lead to an arrest. So why isn't David or anyone associated with him in cuffs? Now, we've reached out to David's team for comment, haven't gotten a reply yet. Joining me now exclusively is missing persons private investigator Steve Fischer, who has been covering this story since it began. Steve, thanks so much for coming on. I first have to ask you, what led you to post all this today? And I'll be clear, you were quite vocal about your frustrations in this case.
Yeah, listen, these documents became available, and to be honest with you, it was the first confirmation that I got that she was actually dismembered. That's something that, I couldn't find out. I really was hoping that that was not the case, and that just changed everything. I was vocal about it. I only do missing persons cases, and I'm really, really passionate about them, and especially about these victims that don't really have a voice and that are taken advantage of. And that is the case here with Celeste, who was 12 or 13 years old when this started. And it just, and I'm getting angry, to be honest with you. I don't like the way that things are moving forward, and the lack of transparency. But they're telling us that it's not a lack of transparency. It's just things need to change, and I think we need to get more vocal.
So I want to get into that, but now that this is in the court documents and is seemingly a confirmation, there was a conversation before, well, maybe she died accidentally. Let's say, there were some theories of drug overdose, people panicked, put her in the car,
Yeah,
wasn't sure what to do with her.
Out the
now,
window.
if there's confirmation she was dismembered in such a brutal fashion and that they are looking at a murder charge for him, intentional murder, what does that tell you? What is your theory of this case right now regarding what might have happened to Celeste?
Well, what happened was vicious, and this was not. And we were hoping it was like an overdose and a bad decision made by some people to figure out how to get rid of her body. But she was hacked apart. She wasn't surgically taken apart. She was brutally pulled apart. With instruments and tools, and put in 2 separate bags, and then thrown in a trunk of a car, and they went on with their lives for many months. And while she was there rotting, and it's infuriating. It is just sadistic. It is. Listen, this is rare. This happens in the world, and this is why we need this person off the street. There's no.
Well, why do you think there's a delay in charges and arrest? Do you think this is a weakness in the case, or are they just building their case for the grand jury?
Well, maybe they're building their case, but 6 months is a very long time. Like how, this isn't like we found remains in a desert and there was nothing to go on. We're starting from zero. This is a girl that was found in somebody's registered vehicle in a wealthy neighborhood with a lot of cameras, in a car that has cameras. And, certainly, listen, I deal with like search warrant returns on cell phones all the time. That stuff comes back in 2 or 3 days. So they have her phone activity. They might not have her phone, but they have all those, things that they can tie together, and it just can't be that hard of a case. But if it is,
you mentioned the cadaver bag. Do you think that's tied to anybody?
Somebody bought it. I mean,
and they could.
The whole cadaver bag just gets me. Cadaver bag, and then another bag. Maybe it was actually a garment bag. And that's crazy. Let's see if we can find a photo.
Crack that.
Yeah, well, sure. And like, listen, we know that somebody ordered a burn cage, and it was delivered to the house in a different name, but that can be tracked. And I'm sure, how many private individuals are buying cadaver bags? Probably not that many. And, so I think there's things that go on, but I don't think it takes 6 months with top investigators.
So let me break this down. If you're talking about 2 bags, right, and what you know about the bags, you're also concerned by the fact that it looks like just David is the target, but you believe he might have had help here, right?
This is the photo. Hold on, where'd it go? Right here. So this is a photo of the actual bag that was found in the frunk, right? Keep in mind that a frunk, Tesla frunk for a Model X is about 6.5 cubic feet in size, which is not really spacious at all, right? This is what they found. And it's crazy because if this was an actual cadaver bag, a whole cadaver bag laid out flat is going to be way longer than the length of this frunk, right? Abraham said it's like you bought cadaver bags and disposed of her in your car. Dude was a dumbass, right? I only see one bag, and maybe there's this is crazy though, right? If you think about it. Now let's say her legs and her arms that were, and I can't tell if this right here looks like there's blood just seeping out. And now that I'm looking at it, this is crazy. Might be a little hard to see, but right here, does this not look like? Maybe it just could be the reflection of maybe this red car right here. But this kind of looks like there's blood on here, no? He drained her and drank her blood so he can be more like her. Oh, that is some crazy stuff. 3x3. Yeah, Cats, I know you were saying this last night too. Do we happen to know when David started bleaching his hair and started wearing the contacts? Here, let me get some facts on the Model X. So Tesla Model X frunk size. So the Tesla Model X features a frunk, which is a front trunk with a storage capacity of 6.5 cubic feet. Sorry, I don't know what I said earlier. Did I say cubic inches? Probably, I don't know. The space is designed to hold soft luggage, groceries, or charging cables, and is a standard feature on all Model X variants. It is one of the largest frunks among the Tesla lineup. Yeah, that is crazy. All right, where was it? Where? I want to finish what he says.
Allegedly.
Yes, so it's all allegedly, but I mean, I don't see any way that this is done by one person. I just don't. And I also know that the car was moved by somebody other than David. I'm just certain that there was, people that knew about it. Listen, that car was putting off a foul odor. There's even live streams where there's a makeup artist that mentions an odor in the house, and they make up this excuse for it. People knew about this, and everybody that knew about it needs to pay a price, as far as I'm concerned. But there's only one target in that, in that paperwork, and that is David, and it's also only one charge, and.
I mean, murder's the top charge here, and they seem to suggest. I mean, they seem to suggest. I don't know what evidence what evidence do you think they have to suggest that he intentionally killed her?
Well, I mean, yeah, it is a murder. Malice aforethought. Yeah. It's the highest level. That means that this was intentional. This was not. So I don't know what they have. That I guess. That's my whole thing. I don't know, but I know that in order for them to be saying that, they got to have something. So if they've got it, what are we doing? And if you don't have it yet, why can't we start with something? Because there's a lot of other crimes that can be charged here, but this needs to be put in motion. There was evidence left behind that wasn't taken. I don't know why. There's 4 terabytes of surveillance from a house directly across the street that was not obtained. There's missteps here. Okay. And it's been a long time. This girl needs justice. And I'm just going to start calling it out.
What about David's family? Why would the prosecutor want them to testify? For what purpose? And I also have to imagine whether or not they would plead the fifth, right against self-incrimination if they wouldn't want to testify against their family member. But what would be the value of them testifying?
I can't see any value in it because, one, did David tell his family? Most likely, no. Well, you're not going to go tell your parents. But even if they did, like you said, they would plead or something. They're not going to give it up. And if we're holding up an indictment for them, because it ends up. It's been confirmed today. They did not. They have not.
I said feet.
Their attorneys confirmed that they still got an appeal process through the state level court. Shout out to the UK in the house. So if we're holding it up for what's going to be nothing, just like I'm sure they got nothing out of Neo Langston, what's missing? And keep us in. There's got to be some keep us informed to some level because. We don't know if the community is safe. These are vicious.
I do wonder if they're calling them to confirm that Tesla was his and registered because it was registered to the Texas address where they live, right?
Yeah, but listen, I mean, just through DMV records, you can,
that's true.
And also, listen, I have the license plate reader data for the last 18 months. I know where that car has been, and so I can prove that he's driving in, where it's been, and stuff. So there's so many avenues, but it's slow.
And by the way, Neil Langston is David's purported friend who was arrested in Montana to seemingly appear before the grand jury. All right, Steve, thank you so much for coming on.
You guys, I totally forgot. We haven't even talked about this, you guys. Earlier today, we had somebody return. Hold on, let me just make sure that we save this really quick. We had somebody return to social media. Did we didn't talk about this yet, did we? I hope not. I'm forgetting you guys. Hold on, let me see. Let me know. Did we talk about this yet? Steve does hate Neo. He's been calling him out since October. All right, you guys. So here, I made it easier for you guys so you guys don't have to read all of this. We have a live reenactment of this conversation. So I'm just going to let you listen to it. You guys can read along. But listen.
Hi, this is Aysia. Yes, it's actually my account. Just wanted to come on here and state a few things because a lot of things have gotten out of hand. I have made it clear on multiple platforms that I am no longer friends with David, and as for talking about things, I am respecting the investigation as well as Celeste Rivas. You guys do not know everything going on, as much as you have done digging. I am also lost as well. The harassment has gotten horrible. I have people being extremely misogynistic and terrible towards me because of things they believe to be true, but not actually having any facts. I only want justice for Celeste Rivas, as a young girl's life was taken. I myself have been a victim of grooming, and often felt when I was younger that I had a mature demeanor and grew up fast. I know you all don't know me, but it also means you don't know my personality or nature. The post that was put on here that picked on everything in my life was not necessary. All it was doing was nitpicking every single job I've ever had. I don't understand what's wrong with working hard.
Why the fuck?
As for an OnlyFans,
My bad.
the moment I started it, I ended it shortly. I was scared, and it wasn't who I was. It also didn't reflect things I was comfortable with. But growing up poor and around a lot of girls who do sex work makes you think you'll be okay putting yourself out there like that. And I just wasn't. I didn't put much out and worked hard to get rid of things. Seeing this Reddit post, pictures of me, and personal information just isn't okay. I have had people track me down at work, stalk me, threaten to kill me, threaten to eat me, chop me up, you name it.
Huh? She said what?
I have had people track me down at work, stalk me, threaten to kill me, threaten to eat me, chop me up, you name it.
This is wild to just hear or to read coming from her. People have threatened to chop her up and eat her. This is not a feature. This is just something that I just pulled out of my ass just to save you guys from having to read it or having me read all of this, right?
Yet people don't know how hard I am working in silence to bring justice to Celeste Rivas in the ways that I can.
Now that part, I had to read a few times, right? You guys don't understand how hard I've been working in the background to bring justice for Celeste Rivas. Let's listen to that one more time.
People don't know how hard I am working in silence to bring justice to Celeste Rivas in the ways that I can. I would appreciate...
People don't understand how hard she's been working behind the scenes.
People don't know how hard I am working in silence to bring justice to Celeste Rivas in the ways that I can. I would appreciate it if people actually sat back and thought about the harassment you are bringing people who have nothing to do with the case. This will be the only time I will be speaking on this until I am ready. Thank you. I understand everyone's curiosity and frustration.
Why the fuck you lying?
So she said that was going to be the last time. Shout out to Whitney for that $5 super chat. Celeste Build-A-Bear named Athena. There's an anime called Inspector, a girl dismembered to become the goddess of wisdom, aka Athena. Damn, ain't that crazy? That's wild. Whitney, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Did the brujeria? Is that how you say brujeria? She's a bruja. Why the fuck you lying? We had to hit her with that because
Why the fuck you lying?
She said that this was going to be the only time that I speak on this until I am ready. She posted this about 18 hours ago. And then if you guys take a look, let's do this really quick. Let's go here and click on her comments, because we ended up getting all of this. I don't know. Do any of you guys want to go through some of these responses? Let me know. Type 1 in the chat if you guys want to go through some of these responses that she made to some of the people who reached out and responded to her post on Reddit. We can go through some of it if you guys want. Y'all let me know in the chat. But until then,
why the fuck you lying?
Oh yeah, we do. We definitely need to. Treats for Yoshi. Yes. Thank you. All right, so I see a few ones in the chat. We can definitely go through it, but one last time.
Why the fuck you lying?
All right, so we'll play a little bit of music in the background so it's not so dead. We'll start off down here, right? Because it seems like she's very active. Really quick, I want to check this really quick because it says that she's active in 6 different subreddits. So I'm very curious to see which one she follows. So she follows Free Patterns, relationship advice, and I don't know if she's the person giving advice or looking for advice, right? We see here that she's also in another sub called Relationship Advice. She's on Twitch sub. And then, whoa. Oh, hold on. You guys can't see this. Let me take this off. Do you guys see this? She's also following this one right here. Is it really odd? Damn. That's crazy. She's following this subreddit, and I really hope that she's not going through it and she's not contemplating that, because we don't wish that on anybody, right? Not sure how all of you guys feel, but none of us do. I don't. I definitely don't wish that on anybody. But that's odd that she's following this, you guys. All right, so let's go down. Let's go down here, because it looks like she was active on Reddit. And so let's click on this one really quick. This might take us a while, you guys, because I tried to screenshot all of these comments earlier today, and it looks like she made about 30 responses on Reddit. So, oh yeah, Tambo, we're on Reddit all day. I'm on Reddit quite often. I just read though. Okay, so she's responding to a post. Oh, this one says not safe for work. I don't know if I want to click on this, you guys. But she said, a lot of this information is false. I'm sorry, you guys, but you are putting someone's family pictures and information that she did not want publicly shared. We did not even go to college together. Once again, I will say posting every single detail about someone's life is not okay. Her personal life, where she lives, simply has nothing to do with the case and causes people to obsess over things. Oh, and I never attended Cypress College, by the way. That's crazy. Okay, we got photos of Celeste Herrera. Well, this isn't about Celeste Herrera, right? We're gonna focus on Aysia because she decided to come out and just talk on Reddit. Somebody said, let's see. She's mocking us, staying relevant enough so she gets asked on podcasts and documentaries about this case. She's just not a nice girl. And she responded with, I've been asked by many people to talk about things and even get paid for it. I don't know. Why is this relevant? It's been months. If this was true, I wouldn't done it already. I think she meant to say I would have done it already, right? I'm staying silent as respect to Celeste Rivas and this investigation. then somebody said, "Are we supposed to believe this, Aysia? For fuck's sake, go away, you troll." Yikes. All right, let's see. There's another post. Let's see. So this person said, "Would never promote the harm or harassment of anyone because while no one else but those directly involved with the situation really know what occurred, but I think there's been a lot of confusion and contradictory statements seen on your social media." So this is where the question comes from, which leads to people to think the worst, such as bringing the Coachella post back to your page with David tagged and the DMs we've seen. But I understand that it's an open investigation and we need to respect that so that justice can be served. Justice for Celeste Rivas. I didn't mean to bring the Coachella post back to my page. I recovered it, but didn't know there was a post of David even in there. On my end, there was only photos of me, Instagram glitches, and is weird. You guys believe in this? Geez, I thought she said she wasn't gonna post, right? David paid her to wear Celeste outfits in public. Now that she's dead, probably feels like bad sound while she's talking about it in court. I hear folks on Reddit are crazy AF. I don't think so. You might not want to go mess around on Reddit, though. She says she didn't kill Celeste unless LAPD says that she did. I'm presuming she didn't. Just me. Don't tell her to go away. Let her spill the tea, right? Yeah, let her talk. She didn't kill her, but I know she knew, and I assume she helped. Don't you? I don't know how I feel. You know, there's a lot of things that contraindicate some of the things that she's mentioned, right? And one of those things is her knowledge of Celeste. There's been many things that she's put up where she says, I don't know her. I never knew her. And then we saw SF Investigates put out a few photos last week. It was just last week when SF put out videos of Celeste in the background, right? It was New Year's Eve. They were, it looks like they were drinking. There was apparently a green bottle, which may have been soju in her hand. And somebody asked if Aysia was there. SF Investigates said she was there. I just decided not to use a picture with her in it. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about it? She responded to somebody and said, when I found out, okay, so this is probably going to address it. This person said, did you know Celeste's age? Did anyone? Did everyone? Aysia said, when I found out her age is when I saw the missing poster. Her age wasn't on it when I saw it. I confronted David and harassed him to try and find out the truth and see if he would show me proof of her age because I didn't believe him at first. He showed me multiple IDs of the girl. This is new. He showed me multiple. This is crazy because if he actually showed Aysia multiple IDs, where are those IDs at now? So he showed me multiple IDs of the girl, and at a certain point, I believed a friend I had thought never lied to me, also was fed a story. That's crazy. The way Celeste was killed, strength was needed. Maybe she lured her to a location. Maybe she played lookout, but she didn't do the heavy lifting. Mac, is she? I don't know. I mean, yo, no idea. Multiple is wild. We are all adults here. Have you ever hung out with a minor and not know they were a minor? No. No. Not me. But this is crazy. This post right here says, when I found out, I asked him to show me proof of her age because I didn't believe him at first. And then he showed me multiple IDs. I'm sorry. If I was given a poster of a missing girl and I knew that that girl was the girlfriend of one of my friends, it doesn't matter what my friend tells me because his story or that story is no longer going to be valid because a missing person poster was presented to me. indicating that she was a minor. So it doesn't matter if the missing poster that she saw did or didn't have her age on it. The tweet, let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. No. Damn, I don't have it. Did Steve see this, or did Steve know this? Not sure. But you know what? I really hope that Steve drops a photo tomorrow and shows that she was there at the party. Why would he have her IDs in the first place? It's a good question, right? Was he the one that was ultimately in charge of holding on to them? I'm not some Aysia fanboy. I've been very critical of her from the start, but we desperately need someone to testify against David. Aysia may be the last chance to get David indicted. Well, David is guilty. You know, I think that she may have already done so, right? And I mean, she said that she's been doing a lot of things behind the scenes to help out. So, I mean, to me, that just tells me that she's been talking, right? She's been cooperative. So I don't know. You guys think that she may have testified already? Even in my college years, when I was 21, I went to a party. It was obvious if there was a high school kid there, and it just made me uncomfortable, and I left the party. Yep. Cat's here. When I was a kid, someone asked me who my favorite president was. I intuitively said Carter. No idea why. Now I know. Ooh. Do not contribute to the delinquency. That's, I don't know. But somebody mentioned in the chat too, why couldn't you just have asked Celeste directly? Right? Why did you have to ask David? This response from her says, I haven't spoke to him, but we're never been crazy close anyways. I think this was asking about the relationship that she had with Neo. Why are you and Neo still friends? Yeah. Let's see this one. Not sure the depth of your involvement and understandable is that regarding the case. However, you are just as bad for not. Oh, this is good. However, you are just as bad for not using your platform to have a voice. If you so-called want justice for Celeste Rivas Hernandez, it is blatantly disrespectful for you to continue posting normally, often for months, knowing this was all happening as if nothing was happening. That's a great point. And your strange behavior, laughing about some random confessing murder on stream, was uncalled for. You were with David until the last day of his tour. I just refuse to believe that you did not find it suspicious his underage girlfriend just disappeared. And yeah, you are still friends with Neo, who literally is known for, allegedly, drugs, being creepy, and who knows what else. Yikes. I've said many times on all of my platforms I want justice for it. It's not disrespectful to keep posting as normal. I did it for months out of respect for the situation, but at the end of the day, I'm not involved in this murder. She called it a murder. And this was 15 hours ago, you guys. When did we find all of this out? When did we find all of this out? That this was for sure a murder charge. Because she definitely knew this was a murder. At least she's speaking about it like that, right? Only trying to help get justice for Celeste Rivas. What has me lost is I've always had a social presence. So did you guys just want me to just drop off the face of the planet? Do you guys want me to just be depressed all day and do nothing with myself? You're just asking for more responses, right? Why not just, I don't know. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are about this whole entire thing. Hold on. Cindy, have a good night, Cindy. Thank you for hanging out. I'm going to put a poll up. I'm curious. All right, guys, poll is up. Let me know what you think. Let's see if we can at least get 25 votes. Can we get at least 25 votes? You think that she got immunity? Storm, I want her to keep spilling it too, right? Like, keep talking, girl. Keep talking. Let us know. She knew she was missing, yeah. It is not even too late for David to do the right thing and take responsibility for his actions. Breaking news. I think it looks better if you never talked until the case is over. For her, glad that she's at least trying now to do the right thing. I just hope at the end of the day, if Aysia truly has absolutely nothing to do with this entire case, then we should all apologize, right? And I think in due time, she's gonna talk. She's gonna say her side of the story, right? And she's gonna figure out how she's gonna say it. And we just gotta patiently wait, right? It may not be the thing that we all want. DJ See No Evil said, I think she was the first one to talk. Close said, I don't think it was a major mistake, but it certainly didn't help her personally in terms or trolls coming for her. Absolutely. I think she should have just stayed quiet. Just stayed quiet, right? Because look who else has stayed quiet. Neo has stayed absolutely quiet. Celeste Herrera has stayed absolutely quiet. And Aysia, knowing damn well that she was the closest public female to David, right? But she just kind of carried on and just continued to do things as if nothing ever happened. David is guilty, said, I'm satisfied with just David going to jail. Well, someone has to be responsible for this, right? And I hope, what SF is saying is true, because he said that they're, not even just SF, but TMZ reported that, somebody was responsible or helped before, during, and after the death of Celeste Rivas. So I'm curious, who could that have been? I don't know. I really, really don't know. I don't know. I find it strange his girlfriend ends up missing from David's life, then she stays on tour after his car was towed, living like Celeste didn't exist. Yeah, I think it is weird, right? I really hope she is helping the case. I think, that's all we can hope for, right? Whether you like her or not, she's young, right? So of course, her growing up on social media is probably something that, I don't know, younger people, they're always on social media. It's going to be a part of them, right? Mollywood, I don't know if she signed. I don't know. I don't even know what she does for work. I know somebody was mentioning that she works a 9 to 5. Or, no, I think she said that on her live stream that she has a 9 to 5 job now. Steve thinks it is Neo, in my opinion. Well, I mean, what we do know is that Steve can't release this information because he doesn't have permission from the homeowner. And, maybe one day Malden Trifunovich will give SF permission to drop that information. But I don't know if that's going to help the case at all. Do you guys believe that that's going to help the case? If we find out, who moved the Tesla? I don't know. Let's see what else. She said most of my posts and streams are me helping people and just chatting with people. I do therapy streams, confession streams, and info vids. I don't know if I've seen any of her. Oh, well, we've seen the confession stream, right? That stream had some people. One person was confessing to a murder. That shit tripped me out. Sorry, I gotta read some messages. Sorry, y'all. Let me see. So she has a 9 to 5 because the companies that she was working with dropped her. I don't think so. I just think maybe look, if she's a model, there's slow seasons. I'm a videographer too, so I shoot videos. I do a lot of video shoots for small businesses, and even we have like slow seasons too, right? I don't know if she's a full-time model. I know she's a stylist. So every field has their slow season. She probably had one too, right? Neo and the managers sound like a shitty new wave band. Rob. Still looking at Rob. It's hard not to think Rob too. But the part that really throws me off is really what SF said. And we just have to kind of hold on. We just kind of have to visit this, right? Hold on. Let's go back and visit. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. Sorry. This one was 4 months ago. Let me see. I'm looking for what am I looking for? I don't think it matters that much in the end. He moved the car a block or less. It's not a good look, but it doesn't prove anything. You're right, personal aids. I don't know if knowing who drove the Tesla really just proves anything or not. But I would caution people online, don't send death threats to Aysia, Neo, David. We don't want to sink to their level. Overcome evil with good, not with more evil, right? And none of these people deserve to be harassed, reached out to, right? Just let law enforcement do their thing. We know that they are working in the background. Things are not moving at the pace that we would anticipate them to, but that's the reality of things, right? We were told that there were people that were going to be witnesses all throughout February. Lauren Conlin had mentioned that. So, we're not done with February. We still got 4 more days, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 4 more days. Rob cooperated. Neo didn't. Who parked the car? Probably an Asian. 99% of models don't make the big money, especially in LA, where there are thousands of pretty girls trying to land jobs. That is so true. I can tell you right now, right? Just living in LA, that modeling's hard, right? You're right. Not even 99% of those models don't make, that Victoria's Secret model money, They definitely aren't. She's probably the escort type model, more than likely on Figueroa. Eesh. Mac Dizzle. You're what? Allegedly. SF. Mollywood, was that on a video where SF said it? Or was that in a tweet? And then if you have it, can you send that to me? Because I do want to revisit that, and that'd be something good to revisit right now. Celeste didn't deserve that either. 100%. Now I have what? Now I've contradicted myself. I've only spoken a few times. A lot of stuff you guys are seeing on the internet is fake. And you know it wasn't. Okay, let's see. Too little, too late. We don't know your involvement, but it wasn't zero. This case will haunt you for the rest of your life, and you will be known only for the proximity to it. Your legacy will forever be tied to a P3DO murder. Should have been more outspoken and forceful from the beginning. Too much time has passed. And you know it wasn't zero. How? What are you basing this off of? See, she's young. She's just young. She wants to respond to everybody. You are harassing his friends for what? I wasn't outspoken and forceful because that simply isn't smart in this case. I wanted to be respectful towards the investigation, and from then on, the very, very beginning, I did put out a few posts saying I wanted justice for Celeste Rivas, and when it was safe to do so, I would speak on it. Why does everyone think they know exactly what should have been said? Yo, the boss. Damn. 10 more memberships? The boss bitch just kindly sent out 10 gifted memberships. So if you guys received a gifted membership, please make sure you thank the boss bitch. Damn. How many was that tonight? The boss bitch? You are just... I don't know. You must have had an extra payday or something. Thank you so much, the boss bitch. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you again. Let's see. Let's see what she says here. I don't agree with the witch hunt mentality, but I do have to say your behavior on social media has been extremely distasteful. You don't have to talk about the case 24/7, but you have come across as extremely tone deaf. That I feel like that these are the perfect words, right? You have become, or you have come across as extremely tone deaf and arrogant. Tone deaf sounds like the best way to put it, right? Especially during the live that she did on Twitch. How many of you guys were there for that Twitch live stream? Anybody in the chat was there? Let's play some music. You were the boss? Yeah, that was... That's not true, Foxy. You're balling. Yeah, I think all of us were watching on Mark's live. And then he was in there at the same time on her Twitch stream. David is guilty was there. That's right, you were, huh? She also keeps continuing to mention how I have posted many times that I want justice for Celeste. I continue to post my other content as well. I'm a creator. I have been nothing but respectful to this case and have tried to be with all of the frustrations that are being shot at me. I've never posted any digs at anything or anyone. It seems like everyone just wants someone to blame, and I understand. I want people arrested. Yo, this was... I didn't see this one. I want people arrested. I'm very curious. I'm very curious to know what other people she's referring to, you guys. Did you guys see this one? Foxy's balling. Shout out to Mac Dizzle for your milestone chat. Thank you for being a member. She dug on Sakura. That's true, Cat's here. She did. She did. I know, Mac. I feel like you've been a member since my channel got monetized, no? She says she wants people arrested. I'm just curious who the people are. She really doesn't understand just how big this story is and just how ruthless and unforgiving people on the internet can be. That's a great point, right? That's a really great point. I mean, the internet is not a place to play around. You guys have seen Don't F with Cats, right? How many of you guys have seen Don't F with Cats? Type 1 in the chat if you guys have seen Don't F with Cats. This whole case kind of reminds me of it. Don't worry, Wit. We'll be here. Be safe, Wit. We'll be here. She wants people arrested so the heat can be taken off of her. Mac Dizzle's coming for you. Gonna drive myself to get some pancakes. Ooh, pancakes sound good. She responded to somebody saying this mentally will get you all nowhere. Assumptions simply made from things that you've seen online, but do you really know anything? See, and then she berates the person, you know, that she's responding to. I mean, I suggest you have more respect for this case. Like, don't poke the bear. I'm speed replying to a lot of comments, not trying to not say her full name or be respectful. Somebody signed her up for some classes. He gave me an explanation. What? Let me see this. Let's see what he says. When I found out her well, hold on. Did you? Okay, so, but you continued to work with him for a year? Why didn't you call the police when you were shown the missing poster versus asking him for his side? He gave me an explanation of things going on. I felt that things weren't as they seemed. That don't make no goddamn sense. I felt that things weren't as they seemed. I can't say everything in detail yet, and this is why I wanted to wait. Girl, I'm gonna hit you with the... Hold on, let me read this again. I felt that things weren't as they seem. I can't say everything in detail yet, and this is why I wanted to wait to speak.
Why the fuck you lying?
But I am being forced to try and give a little more than I already have due to the death threats upon me and my family. And then this person said, then why come here at all? Girl, you are better off staying away from all the forms of social media because this post is just a feel sorry for me post. Sorry you're having a shit time, but it could be worse. You could be dismembered in some asshole's Tesla at 14. Damn. The internet is not a place to play games. Okay, so here, why didn't you ask Celeste Rivas yourself? Was he keeping her in a cupboard or something? I did not know her. Somebody screenshot this, y'all. Some chicken and waffles. Damn, that sounds good. Damn. I did not know her, didn't have any mutual connections with her, did not have her number, did not know if she was actually missing or where she was never in proximity of her. Was never in proximity of her that I knew of. I had only met her once. Sorry, I'm just trying to take in everything that she's saying because she's so contradicting. There was no way for me to contact Celeste. I also work many full-time jobs. David was not my whole life, not even a dime of it. Once I felt that she wasn't underage or missing, I continued on. Once I felt that she wasn't underage. Magdizzle, thank you so much for your Cash App donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Wait, hold on. The boss, did you just send another Cash App too? Dang. The boss bitch, thank you for your $50 donation on Cash App. Okay, let me check. X.com. Did you tag my Flojo TV? Is that the one? How does this work? I forgot how to use mentions. Hold on. I just started using X all over again. Hold on, let me see. I don't think I got it. Yep, Exhibit B is this Reddit thread. Yep. Didn't she tour with him and live in the house? She left her car there at his house in July until September, according to SF. That's right, S. Lee. Yeah, apparently her dad was the one that picked it up while they were still on tour. I think he picked it up the day after the warrant was served. So on September 19th is the date that I remember. She was on tour. I don't know if she lived there or not. She came over a lot. I do feel bad for this girl. She never should have came on Reddit and spoke. See, and then the back and forth that she just continues to have. Hi, have you run this by your lawyer? This is probably something they would rather you didn't do. Oh, see? But now when I speak out, you guys say stuff like this. What do y'all want me to do? We do want you to speak, at least I do, but I want to be honest. I want you to be honest with us. You probably do need to consult an attorney because you're already giving conflicting statements in this comments thread. If you're going to speak, just be truthful. Yikes. That's what I'm saying, Cats here. Did David just have like all 19 of her fake IDs in his pocket? So wait, Aysia said that she was shown multiple IDs. Does that mean Celeste herself showed them to her, or was it David? I think David had them. Thank you, Leah. Thanks for hanging out. She said David showed her the various IDs. That's right. That's what she did say in her post. She really doesn't realize that she has multiple posts saying contradicting things. Right? They were tucked safely in his bonnet. Okay. You can't even be bothered to capitalize your letters when, oh god, now they're whoever it was deleted their Reddit account. You can't even be bothered to capitalize your letters when making stories on the case on your Instagram page, so you're obsessed with keeping this brand you've built for yourself, and you try so hard to keep this cool persona going even in the face of all this. I just think you're classless. That's my personal opinion. And whoever it was got scared and deleted their Reddit, right? What does capitalization have to do with my intent? I haven't built anything. What? I haven't built any cool persona for myself. I'm literally just being me. I've said many times that I'm going through a lot. I've acknowledged the case that I'm depressed. Oh shit. I've acknowledged the case that I'm depressed. Damn. Everything I have to also care for myself in tough situations. So, though I stopped posting for a while, it is one of my jobs as a creator. I feel I have been very respectful, but then again, you're not in my shoes. So, if you feel I'm classless, so be it. You're right, I'm not in your shoes, and I don't think I ever will be, because I have enough common sense to know when a child is being exploited, and I would have removed myself from that situation completely and told the proper authorities. Damn. Almost there, you guys. Almost there. What about Robert? You still follow him too. Why stay connected to David's people if you're not his friend anymore and just want justice for Celeste? Can't have it both ways. I don't even know who had anything to do with anything. Dear Lord, that hurt to read. I don't even know who had anything to do with anything. Why are we assuming Rob is someone bad? Because he told the Discord mods to stay offline and delete chats. Plus, he was around Celeste a lot. How was I supposed to know who he was around with if I wasn't with him? Okay, so now you know what you are going to do about it now. Either you're connected still, or you need to disconnect yourself from these people. Good point. Oh, now they're asking her about the garage. Damn, I haven't read any of these. So what did you think of the burn cage and the chainsaw you saw in the garage? Dang. Did you ask questions? I've never been in that garage. Who hangs out in their friend's garage? Girl, if you don't stop lying, I'm just saying.
Why the fuck you lying?
Sharon, how's it going? Welcome. Wasn't it, if I'm not mistaken, you guys, wasn't the whole garage converted into like an arcade? She can't win. If she don't speak, she don't care. If she speaks, she should have stayed quiet. I think personally in this situation, right, she should have done what everybody else has been doing, like Neo and Celeste Herrera. They've stayed absolutely silent, right? And if they are, 100% have nothing to do with it, they're doing the right thing by staying silent and cooperating with authorities if they are, right? I just don't think... somebody had that comment earlier. They said she's just tone deaf, right? If you can't address the elephant in the room, like when she was having her live stream, I don't think she should have been on. T with Tambos, no, personal aid said that's even more suspicious. If a male friend of mine had IDs of his girlfriend, I would be concerned for her safety, right? Aram said, I'm grown as heck and I only have one ID and just one passport. Not sure why a minor would have multiple IDs. Just saying. Isn't it weird? Right? And I'm curious, was her ID vertical or horizontal? Because in California, if you're not, if you're not 21, your ID is going to be vertical. So I'm very curious. And I hope law enforcement found those IDs. Right? Because that right there, it proves that there was an intention to hide something, right? I bet anything Neo is who SF is not saying the name, which they, in really, really deep with David, also knows everything. Very true. Absolutely, right? He probably pulled a Diddy. Ooh. Made Neo wear Gucci fanny pack. Yikes. One of the videos, he did say that he would hold all of their stuff. That's right, in the 4th of July video, right? Well, I think Sakura was basically saying that Neo was going to hold the backpack with all of this stuff. And he got upset, right? Shabron, how's it going? Is there any circumstance when you, a grown person, would let your significant other be in possession of all of your IDs? Hell no. Nope. Cats here said David is guilty, pointed out that the garage was an arcade. Yeah. I could have sworn that, yeah, that whole thing was converted into an arcade. Play the song. Which song? This one?
Why the fuck you lying?
Y'all are mean. I'm pretty sure SF insinuated she signed for the cage. I do remember somebody saying, well, I do remember SF saying that, where was it? Was it on let's see. Let's find it. Let's take a look, you guys.
Alan Burke whines he has money woes. Boo-hoo! This is a grand jury homicide indictment looms. Timing.
So this is the episode that Nancy Grace did regarding the incinerator, right? So she had a really good episode the moment that we found out about the burn cage.
A home incinerator found still in the box at D4VD's home. Was it purchased at the time of Celeste's death? Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. David is finally being considered as a suspect in the death teen girl Celeste found decomposed of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon and star of a hit podcast, Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
A home incinerator? I mean, who has a home incinerator? Have you seen those things? They're huge. They're huge. Why do you need a home incinerator?
Yeah, the fact that there is a burn cage that's even being alluded to here, Nancy, is quite fascinating. And here's why. A burn cage can burn up to 1,600 degrees Fahrenheit. Nancy, that's in the same neighborhood as an actual crematory, all right? With a crematory, which works on natural gas, it has to be sustained for about 2 to 3 hours. It can render down an entire human remain, all right? If that's the goal here with this thing, there are actually cases out there where burn cages have, in fact, been used to render down human remains. I'm not saying that that's what's involved here, but the fact that there is one in such close proximity to where she was found is certainly, from an investigative standpoint, very compelling.
Joining us now, the man who actually first sees the home incinerator in the mansion of David Burke, D4VD.
DJ Cino Evil.
Joining me right now.
I do not want to go on her show. She's going to just tear me a new one. No, thank you.
Now is a now renowned private investigator, Steve Fischer. Steve, I know that you were hired by the owner of the D4VD mansion to find out what the hay was going on inside the mansion after Celeste's body is found. Where did you see a home incinerator?
The home incinerator was actually inside the house. It wasn't even in the garage, and it was still packaged. But it's a 55-pound, device, and which serves no purpose at that house. And
yeah, I don't want to be hurt.
Raised, huge alarm bells with us, and it, especially considering found in the Tesla, and you got to wonder what the plans were ultimately to maybe get rid of her permanently.
I got a question for you, Steve Fischer. You state that the home incinerator was still packaged. Did you take photos of it?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you know what kind of incinerator it is, the name brand?
Yeah, it's made by a company called Dr. Burn, and their whole advertisement is that it burns at 1,600 degrees, and human cremations are done at 1,400 degrees. So, This is meant
David Allen Burke.
to, reduce things, including animal carcasses and whatnot. And this is something you would typically find on a farm.
Well, I've got a question for you. Why are you saying it's used for animal carcasses? I'm not saying that it's not, but did you see anything on the package to inform you of that?
So as soon as we found it on the outside, it clearly says Dr. Byrne, and we went right to their website, and they're advertising, and other people's using it on YouTube. It shows that's what it's for. Now, it's not just for animal carcasses. It can incinerate literally anything, but this is something that's not even legal in the Hollywood Hills because of the fire ordinances and whatnot. And then, we also found it
Tampon boy
with a chainsaw, and so there's just a lot of questions, and it's a horrible look,
So let me understand. Steve Fischer, hired by the owner of Burke's mansion where he was renting it, you find a home incinerator. What I find very critical, two things. If you go to the, as you're calling it, Dr. Byrne, it's DR, original burn cage. There are YouTube videos about burning animal carcasses. So if I looked up home incinerator to burn carcass, that would pop up.
Yep.
Curious. So right there, and I'll circle back to you, Brian Fitzgibbons, there needs to be a full-on digital search as to whether that query was ever typed into anybody's phone, laptop, iPad, you name it. But, okay, so I know that pops up. But what I find very critical, Steve, is the date of the purchase.
Boy. That's what she called him, little boy.
Let me throw this at you. You remember Brian Koberger, of course, who goes on Amazon and buys a dagger, a K-bar knife that was used to murder 4 innocent University of Idaho students, and his Amazon search was uncovered, and the purchase, and where he looked to buy a replacement after the murders. We know, for instance, cult mom Lori Vallow goes onto Amazon and buys a wedding dress, a groom's outfit, and a ring before her new husband's wife is killed. Amazon is a beautiful thing. So I'm curious,
who doesn't like
Steve
Amazon?
Fischer, when the burn cage was purchased. We've heard about the burn cage. What we haven't heard about is, what does it prove? Is it probative? It was still in the package. It wasn't used to destroy her body. But if I can draw a nexus between the time of her death and the time that burn cage was purchased, I got something. What about it, Fisher?
Yeah, so we don't have the exact date, but it just so happened that on January 19th, the owner had an inspection done of the house. Was very thorough with photographs. At that time, we know
right, Catsier, tell him
was
no.
not at the house on January 19th. And so sometime between the 19th and, when the search warrant happened in September is when this arrived. And, it's also around the time that the new Tesla arrived on February 1st. So there seemed to be a lot happening at the end of January, beginning of February. But as of January 19th, it was not there. But after, as of September, it was there. So it appears it was ordered between those dates.
Okay, joining me, as I said, an all-star panel. Joe Scott, you've got a question for Fisher?
Hey, Steve.
Hold on. Joe Scott, I got to warn you about one thing, Joe Scott.
Yeah.
Isn't it true, Steve Fisher, that you were called in front of the grand jury? Can you confirm that?
I can't say anything about a grand jury.
Okay, well, if you had not been called, you would have said no. So I'm going to take that as a yes.
Oh.
I've got a funny feeling that the prosecutor is going to be extremely irritated with you.
And you know what? That's a good point that she brought up, right? There's a good chance that Steve did testify in this grand jury, and with all the information that he found, there's probably a lot of information that he hasn't shared with us yet, and probably because a lot of that stuff has gone into evidence. man, I really hope that he just gave them everything. Maybe some of the stuff that he's already shared with us, has gone into evidence too, but who knows?
Because you found evidence that the LAPD had not found yet. And I'm referring specifically to the Tesla
with
the dead body in the trunk of a little girl, Celeste Rivas. You found that, and you scoured the neighborhood and got the Ring doorbell cam and the surveillance cam and could show that the car was being moved around the neighborhood so nobody would complain it's parked out in front of their house. You even caught one of the driver's face. You still haven't revealed to me who that is. And LAPD
So that's a good point, right? When they talk about the person who moved the Tesla, we verified last night that whoever it was that they saw in the Tesla, there's no image of them outside of the car. And basically the only footage they have is when the Tesla drove by the camera, which was literally, SF quoted, it was about 4 to 5 feet away from the camera. And you can only see into the car, but you can't see like the whole person. So you can only see like maybe their head and maybe a shirt that they're wearing, maybe potentially a hat. I don't know.
The DA's office didn't find any of that. So I guess she's a little ill with you right now. That said, I have a source telling me you were called in front of the grand jury, whether you confirm it or deny it. Okay, Joe Scott, the point being he may not be able to answer some of our questions, but have at it.
I'll try to make it as general as possible. Hey, Steve, Joseph Scott Morgan. I got a question for you. I've been through this area before, only as a tourist. I could never afford, to even know anyone there. High dollar area. If you rent a place up there, it would seem odd that it would be incumbent upon that person to do their own landscaping work. And I'm fascinated about this chainsaw and this idea that I'm sure the shrubs are lovely. Are you, and you've got this, from what I'm understanding, an unopened chainsaw there. What would be the purpose of someone having this thing, and when did it show up?
Well, so you nailed it exactly. Because I've heard some people say that, well, people have chainsaws that do yard work and trim trees. This was a rental that the owner was completely in charge of all the maintenance, including the pool, the tree trimming, everything. That this was plug and play. They didn't have to do any of their own yard work. So there's no reason for it to be there. And it showed up again after January 19th. It was not there because there was photo documentation of that walkthrough of the inspection, annual inspection. So it showed up after.
Elvis, that's a really great question. I really like that question. I wonder if Silverman has been deliberately quiet for not having it more sensationalized anymore. That she's been possibly in hopes that it wouldn't cause witnesses to hold back any fear of talking. And we know for damn sure that she hasn't said a single thing, right? She's been dead silent too. So maybe that's kind of helped people come forward and speak up. Good point.
Between, the time of the search, January 19th, and the time of the search warrant. But you're absolutely right. They're not responsible for any of that maintenance, and can't think of any reason that they would need a chainsaw there.
Joining us now, Melissa McCarty, investigative journalist and author of The Making of a Crime Reporter. Melissa, thank you for being with us. You have a question for Fischer? Go ahead.
I do. Hey, Steve, 2 questions for you. One is, who were the 2 items addressed to? Was it the owner of the house or somebody else? And also, it's my understanding the LAPD, they did not take those items as evidence, but do you know if there was any kind of brushing of fingerprints to see if David or somebody else in his inner circle at one point laid their hands on those boxes or collected those boxes, touched them to link the 2?
Very good question. So
I never
they did not take the items. We contacted them and asked them specifically about it, and they told us that they photographed them, but they did not fingerprint them. And There was no dust or anything on them, and they didn't appear to luminol them either because they hadn't been removed from the packaging. So, as far as who they were addressed to, they were addressed in a fake name. Somebody that did not live at the residence, but they accepted the packages at the residence, and we believe just from the investigation we've been able to do that they used prepaid gift cards to
hold on, you guys. Let's go back on that.
The residence, but they addressed in the packaging. So, as far as who they were addressed to, they were addressed in a fake name. Somebody that did not live at the residence. But
okay, so he says two things that I question. So he says it was addressed to somebody with a fake name. Then he says somebody who didn't live there. You guys caught that, right?
But they addressed in a fake name. Somebody that did not live at the residence, but they.
I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. Do you think that it was addressed to an actual person, like a real person? They just didn't live there? Or do you think that the package was intentionally sent to somebody else with a completely different name?
Accepted the packages. So as far as who they were addressed to, they were addressed in a fake name. Somebody that did not live at the residence, but they accepted the packages at the residence, and we believe just from the investigation we've been able to do that they used prepaid gift cards to purchase the items.
Whoa, wait. You're giving me all new information. Wait a minute. Are you telling me? Have you told anybody else this? Are you telling me the home incinerator was addressed to a fake name, but somebody in that house accepted the package?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Correct.
How do you know that? Did you see the name?
Yes.
Fake name.
What was the name? How do you know it was fake?
Well, when I say fake name, it's somebody that does not live at the residence. It's the name of a female that does not live at the residence.
Okay, so there you go, you guys. You just clarified it right now. A fake name meaning somebody. Hold on, let's listen to this.
What was the name? How do you know it was fake?
Well, when
the eye roll that he gives.
What was the name? How do you know it was fake?
Well, when I say fake name, it's somebody that does not live at the residence. It's the name of a female that does not live at the residence. Yeah, they accepted, they signed for the package through DHL.
Oh, I'm learning so much right now. Okay, so this guy did not go run down to Home Depot and buy a home incinerator.
Well, perhaps he doesn't know for sure if the name is of a person that exists, but he is only certain that a person did not live there. Good point. Oh, I forgot this part. Someone who wasn't on the name was there. Someone else signed for them. Yep.
That means somebody went online, Steve Fischer, and ordered it. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And I'm sure those records are very subpoenable.
Okay, you know, Danny Rubin joining me right now, veteran criminal defense attorney, founder of the Rubin Law Firm.
That is bold,
Danny, thank you for being with us tonight. I was ill. I was getting a chest pain that was radiating up into my teeth when I was hearing Steve Fischer talking about, no, they did not seize the home incinerator. They did not seize the chainsaw. They did not fingerprint them. They did not luminol them. I mean, that's bad police work right there. That they just took pictures of them. Because, you know, juries, they want to look at it. They want to touch it, hold it, feel it, smell it, the whole shebang. But then I was heartened.
Nancy's wild.
When I heard him say it was sent to a fake name to somebody that doesn't live there, to this address, and it was accepted by someone in that home, which tells me there is a digital trail, Danny Rubin. It proves a lot.
I mean, what it can prove is the account that ordered it. It doesn't necessarily prove who ordered it. I mean, when I look at a case like this, I look at who's got the most to lose here. David had to know that if he is the one that would be culpable for this, he'd be the first one to be looked at. My question is, who's the second or who's the third? That's the person I'd want to investigate as his defense attorney.
You would want to investigate them to what? Just let's pretend for a moment that you're David Anthony Burke's lawyer, you want to look at everybody around him. So let's just be real here. So you can pull a SOD. Some other dude did it defense. So you're looking around at everybody else. Is that what you're saying? Just be straight.
Well, my question is, what if someone else actually did do it? I mean, his two managers are around him all the time.
This guy's the agitator.
They're the ones that are economically invested. Robert Morgenroth was actually, as far as I've read, called to testify at the grand jury, and he was recorded saying, "Why didn't I call the police?" Yes, the manager.
Okay, so they tried and it worked in the Top Mom Casey Anthony murder case when she got her mother, Cindy Anthony, to go on the stand under oath and fall on her sword and take the blame for the highly damning searches for how to make chloroform. She said that she wrote chlorophyll, not chloroform, and that the computer spell checked her because she wanted to get rid of bamboo in the backyard and made no sense at all. That said, it worked in that case, so I can't poo-poo it that quickly. Brian Fitzgibbons is joining us now. Director of Operations, USPA Nationwide Security. Brian, you also, in your search for people all around the world, are an expert at digital forensics. Brian, what should they be doing right now to determine who ordered the burn cage?
Yeah, I want to applaud Steve Fischer, Nancy, and the work that he's done, and identifying that the purchase was made with these gift cards, that it was delivered to a fictitious name or a name that wasn't at the residence. This is going to provide investigators with a good foothold to begin that forensic search and subpoena these purchase records of what date this burn cage was purchased, on what IP address was the system accessed. They're going to be able to get quite a bit of information off of that purchase. And I think that you will see that provided that this moves forward to trial.
Yeah, you know what? You brought up another issue, Brian Fitzgibbons. Thank you. I was so taken by the fact that this was obviously ordered online. I wonder if they're going to be able to find where the purchaser watched that YouTube video Fisher just told us about, how the home fire cage can burn dead carcasses. Question to you, Steve Fischer, owner, founder of Steve Fischer SF Investigations. Steve, how do you know that it was bought with gift cards?
No, so I want to be clear. From what we've uncovered, it looks to us like it was purchased with gift cards from, the communications that we've had. I can't say that 100% for certain, but it appears that that's how it was done. But, we haven't gotten
What kind of gift cards? Please say Amazon. What kind of gift cards? American Express, Visa, Home Depot?
Yeah, one
were
of those you go
Visas.
to Target and buy like a prepaid Visa or Amex or whatever, like that. Just something that doesn't have your name attached to it. Although you have to, I guess, technically register it, but you can.
Yo, we are 2 subscribers away from 1,300, you guys. How crazy is that? That's crazy. Can we hit 1,300 before the night ends? Damn, that's crazy, you guys. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the channel. Shout out to you guys. And all the supporters out there, the fam.
Again, you can use that in anybody's name, but I'll bet you that there is an email address that they formed this person's name, this fake name. So, and then that'll probably reside on one of those computers. And, I think they'll be able to tie it all back to them. I don't think these are geniuses by any means.
You said that you can't say gift cards were used 100%, but that you have personally done, you and your team have done investigations that lead you to believe that gift cards were used. You're telling me the gift cards were not to a specific store such as Home Depot or Lowe's. You're telling me they were of the variety that you can go to Target and get like American Express or Visa gift cards. Is that correct?
Yes, right. Yes.
Okay, which leads me to believe that they were bought at Target. Were they bought at Target?
Oh, I honestly have no idea about that. I'm just saying that, like they're a seller of those. I don't know where they bought the gift cards at, but they were delivered, through a, delivery service, like you order online, and appears that they used DHL to ship this,
That's
item.
a good point, Gets here.
To ship the gift cards or to ship the burn cage?
The burn cage. So I think it's going to be fairly easy to track it back.
Okay. Karen Stark joining me, forensic psychologist, renowned TV radio trauma expert, consultant at KarenStark.com. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Can't you just see? There's going to be video, right? They have cameras everywhere, specifically on the registers. Can't you just see this merry troop slinking into a store and getting all these gift cards, which is, they think, so sneaky because it's not in their name?
We're one subscriber away from 1,300, or did we just hit it?
I hope they charged it.
Oh, we just hit 1,300 subscribers, you guys.
Trying so
Shout out to
hard
all of you guys. Shout out to the... Damn, that's cool. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. What an awesome feeling. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We just hit 1,300 subs, you guys.
Cover up.
We did it, Abraham. We did it.
A trail a mile wide for somebody like Steve Fischer to find.
It's very clear that these people were disorganized, Nancy. I mean, nobody really understood. How could you leave even the body in a car and keep moving the car around and not think that somebody would notice?
Very suspicious, right,
where
Personal?
they were. And if you consider the fact that she was dismembered, and then you also look at the fact that someone ordered a chainsaw, somebody ordered this burn incinerator, it's very telling that there was
and the
intent, or
chainsaw,
at
you
least
guys.
it seems that.
I almost forgot about the chainsaw. This guy was literally just planning to fucking, I don't know, chop down some trees or what.
That way, that
Thank you to Boss
they
Bitch. Thank
turned
you.
this body, it was dehumanized. And they were
Go
looking for
Rocco.
any way, according to me, it seems, to get rid of the body.
What's up,
without
Day
even
Oakley? How's it
thinking
going?
about this as a person.
Back to Steve Fischer, following up on what Karen Stark, psychologist, said. Steve Fischer, isn't it true that...
I hope and I pray, Sharon, that you are wrong about them utilizing... Well, they didn't use the chainsaws, so that I hope they didn't, because if they did, that is disgusting.
D4VD, a.k.a. David Allen Burke, was going on tour. So if Celeste was already dead, they wait and they wait and they wait, and the home incinerator doesn't show up. They're like, hell, let's put her in the trunk. That's going to be the argument. Of course, they're all presumed innocent until proven guilty. So finally, you know what? Back up and punt. And she ends up in the trunk. Can't you just see that playing out, Fisher? Then the incinerator comes a day late, $1 short.
You're right,
FedEx.
no matter how,
They used
right?
DHL. What about
the fact that they cut off her extremities, and then they cut her extremities into tiny little pieces too, and then they left her torso and her head. That's so disgusting, you guys. What's up, Rocco? That's so sad that they spent time. And I bet you that, that job is not an easy job. It takes time to dismember a body. I mean, I wouldn't know, right? But I would assume. That's so gross.
Fisher?
Yeah, personally, I think the incinerator was already there. I think this became a case of them chickening out. They
pancakes,
or whoever was supposed to do it didn't do it, and then they just ran out of time. I mean, this is what baffles me about the whole case. We're talking about people that are, quite frankly, idiots, and now how is it taking this many months to be able to put this case together to be them chargeable? Because these are not people that pulled off a perfect crime, and this is the part that really baffles me. Is it's so sloppy, yet there's apparently not enough to charge them yet. I don't understand.
PI Steve Fischer claims he found a burn cage incinerator and a chainsaw inside the home rented for Burke by his manager. Employed by the property owner to determine what took place in his house, Fischer uncovered the items still in their original packaging and were unused. The incinerator is illegal in Los Angeles, delivered to the residents under a fake name, and claims to reach a temperature of 1,600 degrees.
We're going to hit an ad.
Hi, guys. Nancy Grace.
No,
Others believes Burke was involved in the death of Celeste.
So let me understand. To Dave Mack joining us, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Dave, we were first.
Cornbro, someone gave you a membership. Well, welcome to the inner circle. Thank you for being here and hanging out. We're just reviewing some old footage. You know, after everything that kind of came out from SF. We're just kind of reviewing some of the old things that have came out because the court documents have come out and you know, they kind of confirmed what we never wanted to see or never wanted to read, that Celeste Rivas Hernandez was actually dismembered. So we're just kind of looking back at some of the stuff and see if there's anything else that's kind of making more sense now that we know a few things, right?
First told this grand jury was just an investigative grand jury that was gathering evidence on Celeste's death. Now we're learning an indictment looms, and it is a homicide indictment. I never had any doubt that this grand jury was going to seek charges. Do I have that right, Dave Mack? We're expecting a grand jury indictment to come down.
That's what everything is pointing towards, Nancy, right now, expecting an indictment to be handed down for homicide.
Danny Rubin, you have dealt with many, many grand jury indictments. I don't know if you're a former prosecutor, but were you a former prosecutor at any point, Danny?
No, defense attorney from the very beginning, but I've dealt with the aftermath.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Long story short, if the grand jury is meeting to indict, not just investigate, that means they have to pick a charge, Reuben. They've got to go with, if it's homicide, murder 1, murder 2, voluntary or involuntary. And then, of course, there's felony murder. They've got to pick between those charges. They could indict in the alternative, which means a murder 1 with a murder 2 and a voluntary or even involuntary, all in the same indictment so a jury can pick. So if they're going to go with murder 1, go with me, Reuben, go with me. That means they either got the COD from the body, which was decomposed, and they know there was either a gunshot wound, a broken hyoid bone to suggest asphyxiation, something in toxicology, a knife nick to one of the bones. They've either got it from the body itself or they've got a witness to say she was murdered and this is what happened. Because they got to indict on those few
right, that comes
choices,
out.
murder 1, murder 2, voluntary, involuntary. That's all the choices there are for homicide. To do murder 1 or murder 2, they had to find something from the body or a witness. What do you think?
I think if they had something from the body, they would have been bringing charges a lot sooner. It seems like if they're looking into indicting for homicide, whichever one they pick, they probably got some information from a witness that they questioned over the past month or two. I know they're going to be calling back witnesses in February. That's what I read.
Yeah, David, I was looking at that. Either she doesn't post on it a lot or she has a different account, but she decided to use this one today, which is weird.
So it seems like they're still trying to find more evidence. But if they're looking to switch that investigation now, it's probably because of something someone said, possibly in conjunction with something they found on the body.
Dave Mack, speaking of witnesses before the grand jury, isn't it true that witnesses, at least one, has refused to come to the grand jury? Isn't that true?
Absolutely true, Nancy. And they've gone so far as to threaten to arrest her if she won't come in.
Danny Rubin, I'm just wondering, let's just put together the pieces here, Reuben. A witness stated that she refused to come to the grand jury. An order went out to either bring her in.
It took you long enough, David.
Have her arrested,
Collins.
give her immunity if she was facing charges herself. Therefore, she would have no reason to take the Fifth Amendment from the grand jury, or charge her with contempt. If you're a target, you can be given immunity and forced to testify because you have no Fifth Amendment right to remain silent.
That's right, Sharon. They did heavily decompose,
or
right?
If you're just a
and
witness.
had bugs in it. That's the part that was really tough to read, that there were bugs all over. So sad.
You can be held in contempt and jailed until you testified. Okay, so that word goes out, and the next thing you know, an indictment is being handed down. Sounds to me like they got the witness testified, and now we're looking at a homicide indictment.
That could be it. I mean, like I said before, it could be something in conjunction with what they found in the body. It could be some combination of testimonies. But this is why we have subpoena powers, because both the prosecution and defense, prosecution and grand jury, defense at trial and preliminary hearing, we need that to bring in witnesses who can testify. And many times we can't get what we need without those witnesses. So it's a very big stick that we have to bring witnesses in that we need.
Danny Rubin, you have a question for Steve Fischer?
Yeah, Steve, when you investigated the home where David was purportedly living, was there anything else of note that you found? Anything still in its wrapper? Anything that was looked like it had not been taken out of its packaging?
No, besides those two items, there was a couple full respirators, almost like gas masks at the house, but they were out of the package. Don't know exactly what they were for, but those were the two, most damning things.
And then Iraq, I mean, as horrible as it sounds, that's probably what I'm most interested in seeing. And maybe that's just because I'm a nurse and that's kind of along the lines of what I've seen and studied and stuff. I'm really just curious to see what that autopsy report looks like. I mean, it's sad, that there is going to be one, but I am very, very curious to see it too.
For sure. There was a lot of stuff left behind that was of value, such as the memory card with all the photos, but nothing that really was like, what would that be doing here?
Joe Scott Morgan joining me, Professor of Forensics, Jacksonville State University, star of Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, we're learning a lot tonight. Okay, we knew that there was a chainsaw. We knew that there was a home incinerator. We didn't know that it had been purchased with gift cards anonymously and that it had been sent under a fake name. Now we know that purchase can be traced and we can find out, hopefully, if there's video, who bought the gift cards and where and when. What does this mean to you forensically? What can we prove with this new evidence?
Well, I think certainly with the gift cards in particular, because that is something that can be digitally traced. And just let me remind everybody, these gift cards can be picked up anywhere. It doesn't have to be at a big store. You can walk into a gas station and buy these things. So, but the upside with
but
this
it can be traced, Joe Scott, the location of where the gift card, they got numbers on them like guns, for Pete's sake. You can find where a gift card was purchased.
Yeah, and and the digital evidence here gets very granular. And so it's going to be very specific. You can put a really tight pin in this thing. Also, the initial purchase, the utility of these things, and then you track along with the purchases that are made. Now, I'm going to use a term here, and I'm sure you'll slap me down for saying this. I got to tell you, Nancy, from a legal standpoint, the things I've heard attorneys say in the past with these boxes of unopened items, when you think about the chainsaw and this burn box and these sorts of things, this almost smacks of like an inchoate offense. I don't know. I think I'd like to know your opinion of that, but there's planning going on, perhaps, if they can prove that, and maybe there is intent, but they just couldn't complete the act here. Going back to what Steve had said earlier, this seems like the, I don't know, old reference here, the apple dumpling gang. They just can't get in.
Oh yeah, no, you guys are absolutely right, Abraham and then Iraq, right? Bugs are going to be a good sign because the medical examiner is going to utilize that to determine the stages of or determine when, you know, the likelihood of when she passed away.
Anything right. They're just kind of falling on their faces. No one can pull the trigger. There's not a leader. It's just like they push this thing off in the ether, and maybe she'll just disappear. I don't know, because I got to tell you, out of all the cases I've covered, I've never seen anything, first off, take this long. You've got a lot of elements here of movement with the body, going to Karen's point of disrespecting the remains to this point. And then you have all these other elements where no one could finish the job.
Okay, you refer to incohate from the Latin verb incohere, which means in its inception, in its beginning, just starting.
Hey, Soul Power, how's it going?
So
Welcome.
I see this. If any of this is borne out by the facts, and again,
Michis, seriously.
David Burke is presumed innocent until proven guilty. The beginning of the destruction of the body went because the burn cage and the chainsaw, and we do know she was dismembered. Where you come in. They obviously did not use a chainsaw. Hey, Steve Fischer, was the chainsaw also still in the package?
It had the protective shield over the blade. It wasn't in an actual package, but it's but it had the protective shield over it.
Okay, so it had never been used, which suggests that it's new. And we keep talking about, hey, do you do your own landscaping? Maybe, obviously, he didn't do his own landscaping, but if he had a landscaper that was going to use that, I mean, that could be a defense, but it was never used, which suggests it also was just bought and will probably be traceable. That said, incohate. I see it as evidence of destruction of the body, tampering with a corpse, which is also a felony, which is a separate offense from the homicide itself. I think we're going to see a very involved and intricate indictment, which deals with the actual death of Celeste and disposing of her body. And you're right, Joe Scott, the attempt to get rid of her body was incohate. It had just started, and it's leaving a trail. The cover-up will likely be indicia, proof of the crime itself. Wouldn't you agree with that? Maybe they just got tired of waiting to get all of the items, the burn cage, the chainsaw, and went, just put them in the trunk, man.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the case here. There's also one more issue to this, and this is rather gruesome. It's not that the rest of this hasn't been. It's just that who's going to draw the short straw here? Who's going to put this cage together, which, by the way, is very easy to assemble.
Thank you, Darcy. Have a good night.
Who's going to put the thing together, and then who's going to finish up
see you in the morning.
The process of rendering down her body to the point where it's manageable to go in here. And also they think, oh my Lord, this is going to create a smell that no one is going to be able to escape.
So the Boss Bish, congratulations. You have your own emoji now for being one of our top supporters of the channel.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. Please.
No.
The location.
I hope to see you there. And
Mark Garagos claims the suspect's phone and social media data was triangulated by LAPD homicide detectives to the spot on the same time frame Rivas died.
They've got a chart at LAPD that you would not believe. They've got this thing down to a timeline that's almost by the minutes triangulated to the location, if you can believe that. And it's not just one source. When I say triangulated, it's media, social media, cell phone, Tesla, other, and all I'll say is other kind of GPS tracking devices.
You're seeing Harvey Levin's Two Angry Men podcast with Mark Garagos, veteran defense attorney. I mean, Melissa McCarty joining us, investigative journalist. All of the people that lived in that.
Is this the episode where she tears her apart?
Home or were in and out frequently can be identified. Fisher has video of the person moving the Tesla around the neighborhood. He knows who that is. He saw the face. He's not saying So don't you know that what Garagos and Levin said is true? They've got it down to a timeline by the minute. You think any one of
By the
those
minute.
D4VD cohorts is going to go
Right,
anywhere without
Abraham?
their
She needs to
phone
have a sit
or their
down.
Apple
Mhm.
Watch or their nav system in their car? Oh no, they travel as a pack and they're all traveling together, Melissa.
Nancy, I think we're going to see more than one person charged in this case. And that's what's so great about the grand jury phase. To me, this comes across as a case where a lot of people aren't forthcoming. They don't want to talk. So you need subpoenas to force them to get on the stand so prosecutors can lock in their theories, lock in their timelines, take all of the digital forensic that they've been gathering since September and really piece together what they believe to be true. So I think more than one person will be charged at the end of this grand jury.
What about it, Steve Fischer? Why won't you tell me who was driving that car? I said in on a previous evening that I was misled. It was not misled by you. You're correct. The car was moved
It's
this
hard to
date
refute,
and that
Whitney,
date to this
right?
location, that location. We were basing, I was misled by our own analysis that she was killed she died just before the car started moving. She could have been dead much before that she was placed in the car, before the car was moving. Now, back to my query. Why aren't you telling people who was moving the vehicle? I guess you testified to that in front of the grand jury.
Okay, so this is I believe this is the part where he says that he doesn't have permission to, right?
I'm not even sure what a grand jury is, but you know, the reason that I did is because I don't want people. If I did say that, I don't want people to think that a grand jury is. But
Could have been dead much before that she was placed in the car, before the car was moving. Now, back to my query. Why aren't you telling people who was moving the vehicle? I guess you testified to that in front of the grand jury.
I'm not even sure what a grand jury is. But you know, the reason that I did is because I don't want people. If I did say that, I don't want people to think that she was just killed like that. I believe that her death could go back as far as January, and you know, this person I'm certain will be held accountable, but I also don't want somebody to take it into their own hands, because
Vigilantes.
This is moving super slow and it's frustrating, and I just think it's a safer, way to go.
You know why, Steve Fischer? Because I think Melissa McCarty is right. I think a lot of people are going to be charged, including possibly named as unindicted co-conspirators, in order to get their testimony, give them immunity to get them to testify. This as money woes rear their ugly head.
EA Sports, the biggest name in sports video games, quietly removes Burke's song, "What Are You Waiting For?" from Madden NFL 26. The legendary football game features a soundtrack when released in August 2025 that positions Burke's cut between BIA and Alex Warren on the playlist, but now the song has vanished from the list. No announcement explaining the reason behind the move.
Dave Mack joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Is that why we are hearing about boo-hoo money woes?
I think it's just the tip of the iceberg, Nancy. Remember, when all of this started, he was on his first worldwide tour. He was only 2 or 3 days into it when everything broke and it stopped. This was the end of the career. No money's been coming in since then, or at least it's not nearly what it was. So, yeah, money woes, absolutely.
So every time somebody played Madden NFL 26, it's a legendary football game, they would hear David Burke's song, "What Are You Waiting For?" It played every time somebody played the game. Is that right, Dave Mack?
Well, they created a playlist of songs, Nancy. So, yes, it was one of several, kind of like on an album. You have several different artists on there.
Is that a yes? Could you just give me a yes, no, please?
Yes.
Okay, so yes. So every time that song is played, D4VD makes, let's just pretend, $1, a penny. That's a lot of money, because that is a huge, huge game in sports video games. He's lost all that money. That's the tip of the iceberg. But I think he's got bigger fish to fry than losing money off Madden NFL 26. If you know or think you know anything about this case, no matter if you think it's insignificant, doesn't matter, please call homicide 213-486-6890. Repeat, 213-486-6890. And Steve Fischer, if you have to go back in front of the grand jury, which you are neither denying or confirming, I will make a cameo appearance as a defense attorney and come represent you because I want to be in that grand jury. Okay, Fisher? For free, pro bono.
Ooh.
And tonight, we remember an American hero, Corporal Matthew Snook.
Ooh, Lord. Ooh, Lord. What do you guys think about all of that, huh? How y'all feeling about that? I'm back. Batman is a vigilante. Batman. Vigilante. You guys, there was so much news that took place today. My head is spinning, and I really hope that nothing else comes out tonight because I don't know if I can stay up till like 3-4 o'clock in the morning again. Anyways, thank you to everyone who hung out tonight. I really appreciate all of you guys for being here. You guys really are the best. I do have to say, everybody that comes and hangs out, joins the chat, y'all are so intelligent. I love the conversation that you guys have in the chat. Sometimes I go back and I watch the videos just to read the chats because I know that I miss a lot. Spider-Man, where? Spider-Man, where? Right? Wasn't that nice of her to offer? Do it pro bono? Oh, Michi, thank you so much for being here to hang out. Sarah, yeah, we've been on for what, about 3.5 hours now? A little over 3.5 hours. The Steve video is up on YouTube. Hold on, let's see. Is there more? Is it the News Nation one? D4VD. Let's see. Oh, it just went up like 9 minutes ago. It's the same one though, right? Spider-Man was not involved. Hold on, I do kind of want to let's just make sure. It probably is the same shit.
Got some breaking news tonight in another case.
Oh, here, for some of you guys may not have actually seen the actual video that went along with this. So we'll watch this and then we'll call it a night, you guys, okay? Last 10 minutes of the show, so I hope some of you guys stuck around.
Against the pop star David Anthony Burke, better known as David, spelled with a 4. Again, this is a massive story. We've been following it. It is huge online right now. Ton of interest. The singer.
Thank you, David is guilty for giving me the heads up.
Since the body of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was allegedly discovered
Storm.
in the trunk
They
of
trying to
his
play
Tesla,
you, huh,
or
Storm?
his Tesla. And the pair were supposedly in a relationship.
Oops.
Although that wasn't confirmed by authorities. When police found Celeste's body in a Los Angeles tow yard in early September, talking about how far back this goes, initial reports indicated that her body wasn't just decomposed, that it had been dismembered. Today, we may have finally gotten confirmation of that disturbing detail and also official confirmation that there is a real, active criminal case against David for a charge of murder. And this is all thanks to previously sealed court records that were obtained by private investigator Steve Fischer, which he released to the public. He's going to come on in a minute. But the records are tied to the Los Angeles County grand jury investigation against the singer. And they contain allegations that when detectives discovered Celeste's body in the trunk of that Tesla, it wasn't in one, but 2 bags, including one identified as, quote, a cadaver bag. Yeah, one body, 2 separate bags. And I don't know, call it ironic or not, but we are learning all of this is thanks to David's family. You see, his Houston-based father and other relatives, they were served a summons to testify in the pop star's case back in January. But when they tried to fight it, their legal battle, which contained these documents, became public record thanks to Texas law. And again, Steve. Now, these documents raise some very big questions about the strength of the case against the singer.
I'll take a look at it right now, Sharon. Thank you.
have seemingly known these details for months, right? And finding a body in 2 separate bags sure seems like something that would lead to an arrest. So why isn't David or anyone associated with him in cuffs? Now, we've reached out to David's team for comment, haven't gotten a reply yet. Joining me now exclusively is missing persons private investigator Steve Fischer, who has been covering this story since it began. Steve, thanks so much for coming on. I first have to ask you, what led you to post all this today? And I'll be clear, you were quite vocal about your frustrations in this case.
Yeah, listen, these
Austin Walks, welcome.
And to be honest with you, it was the first confirmation that I got.
Well, were you gifted a membership, Austin? Welcome.
That I couldn't find out. I really was hoping that that was not the case, and that just changed everything. I was vocal about it. I only do missing persons cases, and I'm really passionate about them, and especially about these victims that don't really have a voice and that are taken advantage of. And that is the case here with Celeste, who was 12 and 13 years old when this started. And it just, and I'm getting angry, to be honest with you. I don't like the way that things are moving forward, and the lack of transparency. But they're telling us that it's not a lack of transparency. It's just things need to change, and I think we need to get more vocal.
So I want to get into that, but now that this is in the court documents and is seemingly a confirmation, there was a conversation before, well, maybe she died accidentally. Let's say, there was some theories of drug overdose, people panicked, put her in the car, wasn't sure what to do with her. Now, if there's confirmation she was dismembered in such a brutal fashion, and that they are looking at a murder charge for him, intentional murder, what does that tell you? What is your theory of this case right now regarding what might have happened to Celeste?
Well, what happened was vicious, and this was not. And we were hoping it was like an overdose and a bad decision made by some people to figure out how to get rid of her body. But she was hacked apart. She wasn't surgically taken apart. She was brutally pulled apart. With instruments and tools, and put in 2 separate bags, and then thrown in a trunk of a car, and they went on with their lives for many months. And while she was there rotting, and it's infuriating. It is just sadistic. It is. Listen, this is rare. This happens in the world, and this is why we need this person off the street. There's no.
Well, why do you think there's a delay in charges and arrest? Do you think this is a weakness in the case, or are they just building their case for the grand jury?
Well, maybe they're building their case, but 6 months is a very long time. Like how, this isn't like we found remains in a desert and there was nothing to go on. We're starting from zero. This is a girl that was found in somebody's registered vehicle in a wealthy neighborhood with a lot of cameras, in a car that has cameras. And, certainly, listen, I deal with like search warrant returns on cell phones all the time. That stuff comes back in 2 or 3 days. So they have
no more bonnet,
phone
right?
Activity. They might not have her phone, but they have all those things that they can tie together, and it just can't be that hard of a case. But if it is,
you mentioned the cadaver bag. Do you think that's tied to anybody?
Somebody bought it. I mean,
and they could track that.
Yeah, well, sure, and like, listen, we know that somebody ordered a burn cage, and it was delivered to the house in a different name, but that can be tracked. And I'm sure, how many private individuals are buying cadaver bags? Probably not that many, and so I think there's things to go on, but I don't.
Wait, Austin, are you referring to SF Investigates? We just watched the video right now where Nancy Grace was grilling him, and he basically, just kind of denied even knowing what a grand jury was. So I think with that, and you may have came in after that video, but I think it was pretty obvious to us that, he testified, he just can't speak about it.
I think it takes 6 months with top investigators.
So let me break this down. If you're talking about 2 bags, right, and what you know about the bags.
No worries.
You're also concerned by the fact that it looks like just David is the target, but you believe he might have had help here, right? Allegedly.
Yes, so it's all allegedly, but I mean, I don't see any way that this is done by one person.
That's right, Cassier. He can't even speak on it.
I also know that the car was moved by somebody other than David. I'm just certain that there was, people that knew about it. Listen, that car was putting off a foul odor. There's even live streaming.
I mean, not only that, right? But he also received that toilet paper note, right? Or they told him to come in, and then I don't know. He said that, and then I think mentioned that he couldn't even respond to it because he was flying to Atlanta or to Georgia that same week.
Where there's a makeup artist that mentions an odor in the house, and they make up this excuse for it. People knew about this, and everybody.
Whitney, it's so funny because anytime I'm walking the streets of LA, especially if I'm in that area, I'm always looking over my shoulder, like, is he just gonna walk out this restaurant?
That knew about it needs to pay a price, as far as I'm concerned. But there's only one target in that, in that paperwork, and that is David, and it's also only one charge. And
I mean, murder's the top charge here, and they seem to suggest. I mean, they seem to suggest. I don't know what evidence what evidence do you think they have to suggest that he intentionally killed her?
Well, I mean, yeah, it is a murder.
Atlanta.
Yeah. So the highest level.
Atlanta.
That means that this was intentional. This was not. So I don't know what they have. That I guess that's my whole thing. I don't know, but I know that in order for them to be saying that, they got to have something. So if they've got it, what are we doing? And if you don't have it yet, why can't we start with something? Because there's a lot of other crimes that can be charged here, but this needs to be put in motion. There was evidence left behind that wasn't taken. I don't know why. There's 4 terabytes of surveillance from a house directly across the street that was not obtained. There's missteps here, okay? And it's been a long time. This girl needs justice, and I'm just gonna start calling it out.
What about David's family? Why would the prosecutor?
I think he should just drop everything else. Just fucking fuck it. Just
plead the fifth. Right against
start posting everything.
If they wouldn't want to testify against their family,
apply that pressure.
What would be the value of them testifying?
I can't see any value in it because, one, did David tell his family? Most likely no.
I hope so too, Michis.
Tell your parents, but even if they did, like you said, they would plead or something. They're not going to give it up. And if we're holding up an indictment for them, because it ends up, it's been confirmed today, they have not appeared in front of the grand jury. Their attorneys confirmed that they still got an appeal process through a state level court going on. So if we're holding it up for what's going to be nothing, just like I'm sure they got nothing out of Neo Langston,
I mean, how does he know that for sure, right? We don't know what that whole whatever it was that he showed up for, right? We just know that it lasted 30-45 minutes and that was it. Maybe they only needed a few questions that they needed to confirm, right? Maybe they had enough evidence for Neo to just give them everything they wanted, and Beth Silverman was like, cool, thank you for confirming, we'll see you when we get him, right?
And keep us there's got to be some, keep us informed to some level, because we don't know if the community is safe. These are vicious.
That's a good point too. Why IATA, right? Steve Fischer confirmed that the Tesla with Celeste's body was not moved to its last location by David before being towed. So that eliminates him, right? That eliminates him as a possible. I know a lot of you guys in the chat have said it wasn't him, it wasn't him, it wasn't him. And, swear up and down that it was Neo, but there was still some question as to could it have possibly been David. But we do have that confirmation from Steve today in this video that David did not do it, right? So, I mean, that was just, another breadcrumb that he gave us.
I wonder if they're calling them to confirm that Tesla was his and registered, because it was registered to the Texas address where they live, right?
Oh, he didn't say it.
Yeah. But listen, I mean, just through DMV records, you can,
that's true.
And also, listen, I have the license plate reader data for the last 18 months. I know where that car has been, and so I can prove that, he's driving and where it's been and stuff. So there's so many avenues, but it's too slow.
And by the way, Neil Langston is David's purported friend who was arrested in Montana to seemingly appear before the grand jury. All right, Steve, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. And again, we are constantly following you on X for the latest updates, but appreciate so much your interest in this case and bringing it to.
David is guilty. That's a great point, and I still don't understand that. If there's anybody in the chat that can help make sense out of what David is guilty just mentioned, right? How does Rob testify for 3 days and Neo only goes in for 40 minutes? What do you think that was all about? And keep in mind, right? They don't call anybody who's going to be a potential suspect into these grand juries. Normally, they're just witnesses. So what was the whole point? Storm says the 5th. He pleaded the 5th. Perhaps Rob didn't do the thing, so he didn't plead the 5th. That's... yeah. I don't... Jad says maybe Rob moved the Tesla. Perhaps Rob didn't do the thing, so he didn't plead the 5th. Yeah, I don't know. What y'all think?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Okay. All right. Well, you know how we do over here, right? Before we wrap up, we got to give shout outs to everybody who supported our channel, because we cannot leave without thanking everybody. Oh my God, this is just such a long list of supporters. Michi, thank you again for your 5 gifted memberships. I'm gonna lose my breath with this because you guys really showed out tonight. Y'all were having a you guys were having a battle. But Michi, thank you for your 5 gifted memberships. Kokomom for your 5 gifted memberships. Tammy for your $1.99 super chat. Ronan with your 5 gifted memberships. Here we go. The Boss Bish for your 10 gifted memberships. The Boss Bitch for another 10 gifted memberships. The Boss Bitch for your $20 super sticker. The Boss Bitch for your 10 gifted memberships. Whitney for your $5 super chat. The Boss Bitch for another 10 gifted memberships. Barbara Bish for that $9.99 super chat. The Permission Slip became a member of the Inner Circle. The Boss Bish sent another 20 gifted memberships in the chat tonight. Mama Jack sent 5 gifted memberships. One True Whitney again with a $5 super chat. And another $2 super chat from Whitney. The Boss Bitch sent another 10 gifted memberships. And Mac Dizzle and Storm for your milestone memberships. Thank you guys for being a member. It's more than 1 month. More than 1 month. I don't know why it says 1 month. But anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us here at Filling in the Gaps. I am your host, Flojo. And again, reminder for any of you guys who have been gifted a membership, if you guys Neo for 40 minutes because he's guilty, cannot say anything. That's a good point. OSF vet, great point. He probably did plead the 5th, right? But the Boss Bish, thank you so much for your generous donations for all. You probably gifted like 100 memberships tonight, and your kind and generous donation on Cash App. Let me make sure that I shout out the people on the Cash App too, because Abraham sent one. Where is it? Hold on, I don't ever want to forget you guys. Let me make sure. Mac Dizzleson sent a donation on Cash App. The Boss Bish, I don't know what kind of payday you received today, but you sent, so far you've sent the largest single donation in Flojo TV history. So I do appreciate that. Thank you so much for supporting our channel. Abraham, you also sent a donation in on Cash App too. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's going to be it, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Again, if you got a membership, if you haven't joined the Discord, join the Discord. I'll be posting a link for I'll be posting a link on the community wall. It is a members only. You do need to have a membership, and then you also need to make sure that you have your YouTube account connected to your Discord. Whew. All right, you guys, I'm out of breath. I got to figure out what I'm going to have for dinner. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here. So thank you guys so much. Take care. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care, you guys. Peace. Oh, hold on. I got to set this up. Oh, no. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Take care, you guys. Peace.